Board of Fellows, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, announces her 2023 media event from Tuesday 11th July to Friday 14th July 2023. Day 1, Seminar and Workshop. Theme, Entrepreneurship. Chairman, Pharmacist Ikeja, FAMLSN, President CEO, Pharmacare Support Group. Speakers, Mr. Christian Chidozian. Topic, Utilizing Digital Platforms for Business Growth. Pharmacist Chief Inusa Baale, FAMLSN. Topic, Mitigating the Challenges of Entrepreneurship in Nigeria for improved outcomes. Sir David Adonri, High Cap Securities Limited. Topic, Managing Financial Risk in Pharmaceutical Business. Moderator, Pharmacist Solomon Aigwabwa, FAMLSN. Discussant, Pharmacist Matthew Azoji, FAMLSN. Pharmacist Nika Zubair, FAMLSN. Date Tuesday 11th July 2023. Time 10 a.m. Venue Sheraton Hotels, Ikeja, Lagos. Day 2, the 5th public lecture. Topic, Leveraging on Mentorship for Professional Growth and National Development. Guest lecturer, Professor Lere Baale, President CEO, Business School, Netherlands. Chairman, Mr. Manason Rubianu, FAMLSN, President, Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria. Date is Wednesday 12th July 2023. Time is 10 a.m. Venue, Sheraton Hotels, Ikeja, Lagos. Day 3, Media Meeting. Date, Thursday 13th July 2023. Time 10 a.m. Dinner and Award Night. Chairman, Malam Yusuf Olaolu Ali, SAN. Founder and sole financier of the Yusuf Olaolu Ali. Principal partner, Yusuf Ali and Co. Galib Chambers. Chief Launcher, Yusuf Haliru Binji. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Boa Cement. Host, Professor Cyril Usifo, FBSN. President, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, PSN. Chairman, BOF PSN, Pharmacist JEB Adagazu, FPSN. Time, 6 p.m. on Thursday, 13th July. Venue, Sheraton Hotels and Towers, Ikeja, Lagos. This is a hybrid event and will be broadcast live on PharmaStream TV YouTube channel for all the virtual attendees. Subscribe to PharmaStream TV YouTube channel and click on the bell icon for instant notification when event goes live. Announcer, Pharmacist Lanre Familusi, FPSN, Secretary, Board of Fellows. Pharmacist Mrs. Joke Bakari, FPSN, Chairman, Planning Committee 2023.
Table right away. And the first on the list will be our chairman, the chairman of the Board of Fellows, Fellow Jeb, J.E.B. Adagazo. Let's put our hands together for him. The chairman for today is Mr. Manason Rubianu. Let's put our hands together for him, please. You're welcome, sir. Please keep on clapping for our chairman for the day. And of course, our guest lecturer. Our guest lecturer is very known to all of us. I thought I saw him very shortly. Our guest lecturer is Professor Lere Baale. Let's put our hands together for him. I think he just stepped out a little while ago. Oh, sir, please come to the high table. I was looking out for you. You're welcome, sir. You know, since Professor Baale retired from Pfizer, I've been almost right in predicting the attire that he will come with this signature cap like Jagaban. Let's put our hands together for Professor Baale again. You can't miss him. Please, I want to appeal to us to have our seats because we are starting right away. Let's rise for the national anthem. I want somebody to help me call our BOF chairman. I think he stepped out a while ago. Let's also welcome the chair of the organizing committee, pharmacist Joke Bakare. Put your hands together for her. Our chairman is there. I'm actually about to call him now for an assignment. He's just, can somebody help us? Please call our chairman, BOF chairman. BOF chairman. Right, so you're all welcome, and I'm sure a lot of people have come in again. I did something a while ago to let us introduce ourselves. So just welcome somebody by your side and tell him or her, my name is. Somebody said yesterday and this morning that I introduced everybody, but I did not introduce myself. I'm a pharmacist like you. Somebody probably thought that Solomon was paid to come and be the MC for today. In 2001, I still remember coming here on behalf of my organization that I was working with to function as an MC. I was one of the managers of that company, and we invited, the popular, Alibaba to come and anchor. That time, he charged us a whooping sum of 60,000 naira. Whooping. Now, if you call him, you probably have at least 2-3 million naira to, close to 10 million, isn't it? And so we started waiting for him, only to discover that the man had done a double booking. And so ours clashed with another appointment, and he had collected money from us. So my MD then, who I took over from as the MD of MDS Logistics, said, Solomon, come and try your best. And I did. But what pained me up to today is that when I finished, I told my MD, since the man was supposed to be paid 60,000, can't you just give me some part of the money? He said, no, you are being paid salary. So for this assignment, that's about 22 years later, I'm doing it also pro bono. I'm not being paid salary. Let's put our hands together for our icon of the profession, our dear daddy, Julie Adelusi Adeluyi. Put your hands together for him. He's our father of the day, and I think normally we stand to greet fathers in our culture in Nigeria. Let's just welcome him, because he's also more than 80. We can have our seats, please. Thank you so much. And so, even though I was not paid for that assignment, but I owe a lot of the things that I did and I'm doing in the corporate world to that man that gave me the opportunity to be MC Dana, because when in 2010, he was moving out of that business. I had left the business to Elton, and they were looking for a CEO to replace him. And he told the group, you must go and get this man to come back and replace me. So my taking over from him, I'm sure, has paid up for that night that money was not paid for me. So what yesterday we're looking at, diversifying our, our skill sets, developing ourselves. And I just feel that since we counsel patients, maybe some of us can take to the career of talking like this and making money. A pharmacist came to me in one of the night conferences, and she gave me her card. And I thought I was going to see a pharmaceutical position. She said no, that she does event planning and talking. So you talk for a living. So it's possible that there are some of us who have those skills and we are not optimizing them. So in the days of data mining, you can also mine your skill to cash out and make some money from it. Right, so we are moving ahead, and we want to welcome all of us. And to do that will be our delectable CEO of MedPlus and the chair of the organizing committee, pharmacist Joke Bakare. Put your hands together for her.
The President, Board of Fellows, the Chairman of the occasion, Mr. Manason Rubianu, the Father of the Day, our amiable Father, President of the Nigerian Academy of Pharmacy, Prince Julius Adelusi Adeluyi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my fellow fellows, I want to welcome you today to the 5th public lecture of the Board of Fellows of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. This is a different, this has taken a different kind of protocol. Usually it's a one-day event. And with reinvention and with a bit to just be relevant in things that we're doing, we've made it a 3-day event. And I think yesterday was very powerful. We had 3 fantastic speakers, fellow Azoji, fellow Unisa Bello, and a young man that just graduated. And they did justice to all the different topics. I personally learned a lot yesterday. They talked even about things like futures, derivatives, some things that I haven't had in a long time. Very enriching. Yesterday was very good. I'm sure we have tips for that particular program. I want to especially express our gratitude to the chairman of the occasion today, Mr. Rubianu, the president of the Association of Professional Bodies, and president and members of all professional associations present here today. Thank you so much for accepting to come and be the chairman for today's occasion. I consider it a great honor and privilege for me and our team in planning the event of this magnitude. So on behalf of the chairman, Dr. Adagazu, chairman of Board of Fellows, and all the team that has helped. Are the team here today? Please stand up just for recognition. The organizing team for today, Mr. Yola, you're part of us. Please stand up. They did a fantastic job. We're all going to have fun. Our speaker today is Professor Lere Baale. Oh my God, how could I have left it? And I'm sitting right next to him in this manel that is all men with only me as the woman. Huh? I don't know how that happened, but everybody knows him. Everyone from when we were in school, from when he was in Pfizer. I mean, we couldn't have had a better speaker. He's an inspirational speaker. He's a seasoned business coach, a visionary leader, and the CEO of the Business School of Netherlands. Please, a round of applause for Professor Lere Baale. So the topic today is leveraging mentorship for professional growth and national development. You know, initially when we picked this topic, yesterday was entrepreneurship. But I think a lot of it, there was a lot on professional growth as well. Professional growth, personal growth, you know, just even enhancing your own capacity as an individual. We spoke a lot about strategies, strategic plans, and just problem solving in our businesses and, you know, maybe also in our homes. So I look forward today to a very enriching lecture, and I hope you all will enjoy. You'll listen very carefully, and you'll be able to take something away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our chair. Put your hands together again for Joke Bakari. You know, if there is anything that inspires you in any profession, it's how those who have gone ahead of you are doing. And so when we found ourselves reading pharmacy in school, if there are some few people that inspired us are those that we have, some of them on the high table. The first time I saw Benz 340 in 1986 as an undergraduate was when our father of the day, Prince Julie, came to Uniben in Dhaka. And I told myself, Solomon, you are not in the wrong profession. That was an inspiration. And then later on, I began to hear about a guest speaker. And one of the things that used to fascinate me about him is that the man was always very quick to be cerebral and talking and saying a lot of things as a student. And then, of course, when I got into the corporate world, we began to serve them in Pfizer. We were doing some supply chain services for them. And then I also got closer to him. And you couldn't tell whether he was a professor in the industry or he was a businessman that was trying to go back to school. And so I'm not surprised that he has found his, let me use the word, best, post-career in the private sector, what he's doing today. I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful time. Before we started the event, we're looking at the topic of mentoring. And I said, we have always looked at mentoring from the perspective of the older, more experienced professional, mentoring the younger ones. But right now, and nowadays, we have all manners of mentoring. In fact, there is a virtual mentoring, there is a long-distance mentoring, there is a reverse mentoring, where the younger ones will tell you, Daddy, Mommy, this is how they use this app. And I'm sure that as pharmacists, like we were told yesterday, we should be broad-minded to be able to assimilate all the things that we are looking at today. So, Eunice Bello was discussing with me this morning, and I reminded us that it is not enough for us to gather together, have a wonderful time, and they ask you, what did you learn from the conference? You can say, the conference was wonderful. What did you learn? So I'm appealing to all of us that we must make some concerted efforts to have not just takeaway, but some actionable plans that will help us. Yesterday we were looking at collaboration, integration, and networking among us as a platform for, developing our areas of specialty. And I think that some of those things should crystallize by the time we are looking at next year. We should look back to say, yes, after last year's meeting, I had this deliverable that I have action, and these are the results from what I learned from 2023. So please, I'm not asking you to write no because I'm going to write an exam, but please do it because we have need for some of those attitudes. Right now, I want to bring to us to also give us his opening remark, our chairman of the BOF, Dr. Jeb Adagazu. Let's put our hands together for him.
Today, I'm a little bit more excited. I'm more excited today because when we came here yesterday, our mood was neither here or there. But I think my mood has improved greatly this morning. And I can see smiles all over. So let me start by welcoming our chairman for today. A very, very good friend of ours. I've known him for close to 40 years, I think 30-something years. Mr. Manason Rubianu is a medical lab scientist. In fact, he is a fellow of the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria. But he's currently the president of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria. I think he deserves a round of applause. He told me this morning that as soon as he realized he was coming to our event and he saw that I was involved, he did not hesitate at all. I want to thank you, sir. And of course, as usual, we have our former president of the PSN, former Minister of Health in the Federal Republic, former everything, and someone we consider to be, he is not the oldest pharmacist or fellow, but because of the roles he played in our profession, I personally found him the father of pharmacy. If there are objections, you can go to court. He is going to be father of the day for us. Tomorrow, too, at the event tomorrow, most likely he may join us during the meeting. If he is not able to, I'm sure he will join us at the dinner. So please, let's quickly welcome the Prince of Pharmacy, the father of pharmacy, Prince Julius Adewale Adelusi. Adelui, FAMLSN, MNI, etc., etc. You know, most of the time he says he is JAAA. So if I didn't get the other names correctly, but I know he's JAAA. So you are welcome, sir, our Papa. Even though all of us were invited, but in his case, I had to make a special invitation. And he told me, look, as long as you are there, I will be there to support you. I'm one of the probably luckiest board chairmen to have ever existed. So I want to thank you for that support, sir. Lere Baale is not somebody that is strange to all of us. He has always been a prince from birth. It's not by, right from birth. And I knew him a long time ago when he also got married to a very, very, very amiable woman. And the two of them were always moving around like twins. Believe me, this is somebody I've always loved. And I'm sure by the time he speaks today, you know the quality that he possesses. I want to welcome you, sir, Prince Lere Baale. He is a professor, and he is not a professor of a school in Nigeria. He's a professor of a school in Netherlands. And Netherlands is, for those of us who know that, I think it's Holland. It's a waterlogged country. Thank you so much for coming. And of course, on the high table with all of us is the amiable lady who, along with her team, worked very hard to make our events this successful. And Joke I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I'm sure the board will continue to thank you for all you have done. And with all your members, we saw all of them standing up earlier. We want to thank you very much. We have here our past presidents. I can only see one, though. President Buddha, Yaro Buddha, is here. I don't know, the others are still coming, including our president. He assured me he will be here. And we also have our past BOF chairman, Board of Fellows chairman. We have Elder Bruno Wanko. We have Elder Adeleke. And we have Barrister Modi Chiedu. All of them fellows of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. We also have on that special table two of our elders, Professor Biora, a one-time lecturer, and I think still lecturer in the University of Benin. Is he retired? Lecturers don't retire. And we have Mama Oshinoike. I can assure you that our second half will join us later, because the two of them work in pairs, just like it happened during the Noah time. So you are welcome, Ma. You were here yesterday and you are here with us today. I want to quickly also recognize all those who have been fellows for long, and especially those who participated in the events of yesterday. We really thank you for the lectures you gave. It was wonderful, and I can assure you that there are lots of takeaways from the lectures of yesterday. Those who did not participate or were not able to even join us online, I want to urge you to make sure that you get copies of the proceedings of yesterday. I hope those of our members who are participating online, I hope they are on with us. I want to welcome all of them too. And then finally, I want to welcome my team, NEC. Where is my deputy? He's not yet here. All the NEC members, please be upstanding for recognition. All the NEC members of Board of Fellows, feel free, feel relaxed. Yes, you have been working so hard, and I think we need to thank you for the support we've been receiving. The Lord will be with you all. Now, I don't want to go through my remarks or address because it will take some time. But I think I must mention that we have carefully chosen the theme for this year's public lecture, which is mentorship for professional development, for professional growth and national development. We have been trying within the Board of Fellows all along to make sure that we not only think about Board of Fellows, but we think about our, and we always think of ideas. We want to bring up ideas that will help this nation to recognize that we can participate in the development of the nation. We will continue to press on government to recognize us. But first of all, we must recognize ourselves. We have to do everything possible to project ourselves in a manner that will attract the attention of not only our peers, but the attention of government. We have a lot of competent people, people of integrity. And as elders of this profession, as the elite group, every one of us has a responsibility to project this profession to the highest. I want to appeal to all of us to pay attention to the lecturer. And I can assure you too that apart from the lecturer, I'm sure when our daddy stands up to speak, he will also give you a little bit. Because if we give him even the whole day, he will be able to speak on mentorship. So, sir, we shall give you just a little time to help us understand the meaning behind mentorship, because you have been a mentor to so many of us, sir. And I'm talking of Prince Adelui. I appreciate Professor Cyril Osifo, the president of PS, and he's not here, but I think we have worked very closely with him. I want to also say I appreciate Professor Mbang, Femi Oyewo, the immediate past chairperson. We have been working very closely, and we believe that if we continue to perform at the level we are doing now, despite the restricted funds, the lack of funds, we will still leave this place a better place after our tenure. I want to appeal to all of you to please support us, volunteer to serve in some of our committees. Based on yesterday's discussion and based on what we are going to listen to today, I'm sure there is a lot of, there are so many things that we need to work together as a team to achieve. I spoke with the president on this issue of not just mentorship, on so many other issues, especially on the need for us to support the industry. And I think we're moving in the right direction. I assure you that if we move and meet the government somewhere midway and talk to them and discuss with them that we want to see this country becoming self-sufficient in medicines, we want to ensure we participate in medicine security in this country, we have to push for that. And I think we are going to also set up a committee that will look into all those things and help us so that when we come face-to-face with government officials, we'll be able to address some of the challenges of the industry. All of us depend on the industry, but the industry is getting weaker with each passing day. We are also discussing that with the president. We can't have all the groups in PSN having activities virtually every day and every week, and then we spend all the little resources on conferences and workshops, and we're not getting anywhere. So we should plan and streamline our activities as pharmacists so that when we speak, people will respect us. All of us must work in that direction. There is no need for any group to feel, I'm not being active. We should all be active, but in a streamlined manner. So I want to assure you that from this, our mid-term, because this is like my mid-term as chairman of the Board of Fellows, the remaining part, half of my tenure, we will dedicate to doing some of the things that we believe the little money we have will enable us to achieve. But if there is money anywhere and some of you know about where the money is, please let us know so that we can do even much more. Yesterday I appealed to those who are here that there are some of you who know the government in power. Those of you who know the government in power, don't hide us. Don't hide. Please show yourselves. Let us work with you so that we can penetrate that, we can break that ceiling, that glass ceiling, and also be involved in the governing of this country. We cannot be talking all the time about national development and ending it there. We want to be part of that national development, and we need everybody to join hands with us to achieve that. I want to thank all the fellows for attending this meeting. We still have an event tomorrow, which is the media meeting. We are going to discuss a few things. And later on in the evening tomorrow, we are going to have the dinner where we shall be handling the issue of awards to some of the distinguished Nigerians that have been identified for awards. Please, 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 let's make it snappy, so that we will not miss out on any of these events. I thank you for your attention, and I pray that this event today will be one that will be memorable. I wish all of us a very nice event here. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together again for our chairman. One of the things he told us that if you know where money is staying, the address of money, come and tell him. I read some articles that will tell you that come and increase your income 6 times. And the question is that those people who are giving you those tips, have they increased their income 6 times? By nature of the human being, the first law of human survival is self-preservation. So if you know where money is, the first thing you will do, first of all, go there and collect your own before you begin to talk about the chairman. I want to recognize some of our professional bodies who are here. We invited them to come and celebrate with us and attend this meeting. And I want to recognize Mr. Ayola Akomolafe of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria. He is the council member and he's represented the president. Where's Mr. Let's put our hands together. Also have Mr. Innocent Ohagwa, is the vice president representing the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. Let's put our hands together for him. Also have Dr. Awe Aboluga, is from the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANA. He's the second vice president. And of course, we have Baale George, Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply Chain Management of Nigeria. You are welcome, sir. Of course, just to, I know that we left the recognition to our chairman, he has done that, but I want to recognize one of our ex-registrars and the immediate past registrar of the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, double prophet, Elijah Muhammad. Let's put our hands together for him. Right, we are doing well, and I'm sure better than we did yesterday for time, so we will not extend the time that we have allocated to all the things that we have. We'll call on Pharmatex right away, and they'll be giving us presentation, and you have just about 8 minutes. Pharmatex, let's put our hands, one of our sponsors.
Okay, thank you very much. The chairman of Board of Fellows, every other protocol duly observed. Before I proceed, I want to, on behalf of the Managing Director of Pharmatex Nigeria Limited, Chief Joseph Ebeusi, the management and staff of Pharmatex Nigeria Limited, we congratulate this Board of Fellows, the elite organ of the PSN, on this occasion of their mid-year event. The MC said I have 8 minutes. I don't know what I can achieve under 8 minutes, but I will try my best. My name is Charles Okafor. I'm your colleague also. I'm a pharmacist. Hello? Okay, please go back. Okay, I will be talking about the topic we will be discussing this morning is dementia. The topic is actually well chosen. I've looked around this all, and I'm sure most of us here are either approaching 65 years or we are already above 65 years. This is a condition that actually affects people age 65 and above. Okay, I will start this way. With this quote, Mom became utterly lost in the fog of her own mind. This quotation actually is called from a story, about a woman, 57-year-old woman, that suffered from Alzheimer's disease. The story as narrated by the daughter, and this quotation actually captures the essence and the summary of what we are going to discuss, this morning. It's a story of confusion, story of forgetfulness, story of cognitive decline. And just like I said, dementia is actually a group of disease conditions, is a syndrome. According to WHO, it's a syndrome of diseases that affect memory, thinking, and the person's ability to perform the daily tasks. And of course, we have several types of dementia, chief among them being Alzheimer's disease, which constitutes up to 70% of all dementia cases, according to WHO. You also have vascular dementia. You also have some forms of dementia that has young onset. When we say young onset, there are some people that are less than 65 years that are going through symptoms of dementia. Those people are said to have a young onset dementia, and they constitute up to 9% of all dementia cases. It's actually a disease of global concern because according to WHO, about 55 million people suffer from this condition we are talking about. And 60% of this number live in middle and low income countries, of which Nigeria is one of them. And in 2017, WHO declared dementia as a public health priority. Dementia is the 7th leading cause of death and one of the major causes of disability and dependency among older population. And the cost of dementia as of 2019 was put at $1.3 trillion. And if you convert this amount to Naira, of course, the amount will be staggering. It's much more common in women compared to males. And in Nigeria here, the pooled prevalence of dementia was put at 4.9. Just like I said earlier, it's much more common in female compared to male. In female, it's 6.7, and in male, 3.1. That is according to Davis Adeloye et al. 2019. So what are the various risk factors of dementia? Of course, we have the modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. The modifiable risk factors are those conditions that you can actually attempt to, take care of and modify. But the non-modifiable ones, you may not be able to do anything among them. The major contributing risk factor is actually age. For people aged between 60, or rather from 60 and above, there is a 80% chance that the person will likely develop dementia. Also, family history is another risk factor. That the genetic factor, apolipoprotein A, the presence of this protein in the brain actually increases the risk of the person or individual developing dementia. Gender is another major risk factor. As I said earlier, women are at higher risk of developing dementia compared to males. Race or ethnicity is another major risk factor. The blacks and the blacks are at higher risk of developing dementia compared to the Caucasians or the whites. And of course, the modifiable factors, we have poor health, heart health, the presence of high cholesterol, high BP, diabetes, smoking, obesity. These are some of the conditions that can predispose one to having dementia. So what are some of the signs and symptoms of dementia? Of course, you have difficulty remembering recent events. You can actually engage someone in discussion this moment, and in 1 hour or 2 hours' time, the person may not be able to remember exactly what we discussed with the person. It's one of the classical signs of dementia. You have difficulty performing familiar tasks, disorientation, impaired judgment, reduced concentration, personality or behavioral changes. These are some of the signs and symptoms that one is actually going through dementia. Alzheimer's disease is the major type of dementia. In short, WHO said that 60 to 70% of all dementia cases are actually Alzheimer's disease. So it's actually the major type of Alzheimer affecting older populations 65 years and above. Of course, there's no cure for dementia. It's neurodegenerative diseases. And when we say something is degenerative, it means that the prognosis is actually very poor. There's no cure. So the condition will continue to deteriorate. So what we can actually do is to halt or prevent or reduce the progression of the disease condition. So what is the current management of Alzheimer's disease? Of course, vitamin E has been found to slow down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. In short, large doses of vitamin E. When we say vitamin E, we are talking about tocopherol and tocotrienol. Of course, vitamin E is a group of compound consisting both the tocopherol and the tocotrienol group. Of course, however, many studies using alpha tocopherol alone. Of course, when you walk into any pharmacy shop today and request for vitamin E, most likely what you will get from the pharmacy is actually alpha tocopherol acetate. That's what we know in this climate as vitamin E, and that's the most common form of vitamin E in this our environment. But there's much more to vitamin E than the alpha tocopherol. Of course, tocotrienols are also part of the vitamin E family. Hovid as a company, we actually pioneer studies into this other aspect of vitamin E, and that's why we are coming out with some of these other findings. Okay, if you look at the structure, let's do small chemistry. If you look at the structure of the tocopherol and tocotrienol, you could see that they have similar, nucleus, the chromanol ring. And that's why it stops. If you look at the side chain, and that's the point of departure, while that of a tocopherol, is highly saturated without any double bond, that of tocotrienol has 3 double bonds, and that what confers the extra activity of this compound when you compare it with the conventional vitamin E. So when somebody tells you vitamin E, it's not true. Some of this effect of tocotrienols cannot be exerted by the conventional vitamin E that we use every day. So because of this distinct chemical structure of tocotrienols, it has excellent antioxidant activity in cells up to 40 to 60 times as compared, to tocopherol. That's according to studies. There's an increased cellular uptake in biological systems 70 times higher than the alpha tocopherol. So the tocotrienols have been used to manage mild cognitive impairment and in Alzheimer's. Of course, as I said earlier, you may not be able to use it to treat. There's no drug that can actually treat Alzheimer's or dementia. But what tocotrienols can do is actually to attenuate the progression of the symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia. Okay, the tocotrienols and white matter lesion. Why are we talking about white matter lesion? Of course, white matter lesion is increasingly being used as one of the biomarkers to actually, predict, the risk of cardiovascular disease conditions and also neurodegenerative diseases. That's according to several studies. According to this study by Copeland et al., tocotrienols as contained in tocovir suprabiol 200 mg given twice daily was able to attenuate the progression of the white matter lesion volume in human brain. Okay, that's the summary of the study. And that's a diagrammatic representation of the outcome. If you can see from the diagram, the red bar represents the placebo group, while the blue bar represents the tocotrienol group. And that's exactly what happens in real life. After 1 year of supplementation with tocovir suprabiol, you can see the white matter lesion volume. It actually remained the same after 1 year, while that of placebo group increased tremendously. And after 2 years, you could actually see the further increase in the white matter lesion volume as compared to the tocovir, which actually decreased after 2 years. And that's actually what happens when one is protected or taking that tocotrienol as contained in tocovir suprabiol. Okay, this study goes ahead to actually show the levels of tocotrienols, or rather vitamin E, in people going through Alzheimer's disease. It has been shown that for those people suffering from Alzheimer's disease, there's this lower concentration of vitamin E in their system, as confirmed by this study. As you can see, AD is Alzheimer's, MCI is a minor, cognitive impairment. CN is a normal individual. You can see the levels, the plasma levels of total tocopherols and total tocotrienols in those individuals. For normal individual, you can see the tocotrienols is 588.7, while in Alzheimer's disease, the amount of tocotrienols has been reduced to 464.3. So in essence, supplementation with tocotrienols has been shown to improve conditions and slow down the progression of symptoms in those people suffering from Alzheimer's disease. Okay, that's the summary of the study. Of course, the risk of Alzheimer's was reduced by 45% in tocopherol group, while in tocotrienol group, it was reduced by 54%. Okay, the tocovir suprabiol is actually the drug, we are talking about this afternoon. I'm sure most of you are very much aware of this product. This is not the first time you're hearing about that, but probably this may be the first time you're hearing about the use of tocovir in the management of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. And it's actually very, we plan to make this presentation here, in as much as we also want you to make use of the information in your practice outside here. Even as an individual, you can as well be taking tocovir to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. So tocovir, I know, is not a new thing to most of you here, so it's not a new drug. Most of you may have used it in the management and prevention of stroke, and even as an antioxidant. But today you're hearing about the new area of usage in the management of dementia and Alzheimer's. In short, dementia and Alzheimer's disease is a disease condition that is not well, discussed in our environment. So WHO has mapped out at the 21st of September every year to create awareness about Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, I think I've made my point. So once again, I want to thank this noble house. Pharmatex has been a great partner of this board of fellows, and it is our wish that we'll continue to partner with you. Thank you very much.
All right, let's put our hands together again for Pharmatex. The man needs to take photograph to report to his office that he came for this event. I gave you 8 minutes. You spent 15 minutes. I prepared some, young people for competition every year, and they give us 6 minutes. If you spend 6 minutes, 1 second, you have failed. But it's okay. Let's put our hands together for Pharmatex. If there's anything, at least you remember toco. Whether it is tocopherol, tocotrienol, tocovir, please, if you need somebody or if you have somebody who needs it, patronize them. At this time, we want to move away from the pharmaceutical chemistry and pharmacology and all the stuff we've heard, and to hear from our father of the day, words of wisdom. I don't need to introduce the person I'm talking about. There are some individuals you just introduce by calling their name, and you are okay. If I say Barack Obama, I don't need to tell you who he is. So let's put our hands together for Prince Julius Adelusi. Hallelujah. After now, Abs will be singing the pharmacy anthem that our father of the day composed for us so many years ago.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good lecture about dementia. It gives a scientific bent to this, and I congratulate you for that. Dementia is very difficult to manage, especially in old age. 5 days ago, I went to visit a very highly respected senior citizen of this country that has, among other things, dementia. And we had a good discussion. And I said to myself, hey, thank God he has improved. And as I was about to go from his very resplendent room, he asked me a question. I said, thank you for our discussions. I'm happy that you're here. But have you recently heard from Prince Julie? I've been looking for him. Now, that's how dangerous, how embarrassing it can be. It's good for you younger generation to laugh, but you must pray that this thing doesn't come your way. Let me congratulate the BOF for this occasion. I'm one of the happiest people today. Let me do some strange protocols before I go on. No special systemic way. I have seen Professor Anayo Bona Obiora. The young, dashing man of those days. But when age comes, you can't help it. But you're still looking good in your red cap. Give him a round of applause. I'd like to also recognize Bruno Naimeka Wankwo. He was my assistant secretary when we were doing a Luther in PSN in those days. He is now an American. And you can see from his poise that he's enjoying life. Please permit me to also recognize Yaro Buddha. Yaro Buddha is a leader of this profession that should be appreciated. He is in the north, and it makes time and uses his resources to attend occasions in the south here. And I appreciate you, Yaro Buddha. Now, all others in that sector not so mentioned, please forgive me. But I would like to thank Dr. Modi for the little service you provided. You think you were not seen, but you took my friend, Chairman Adeleke, to a place of comfort quietly, but effectively. Now to the business of the day. I think Dr. Solomon Agabuwa, you have not surprised me. You've done very well as an MC. It goes to show you that pharmacists, wherever you put them, are ready to perform optimally. As usual, you look corporate. Please keep it up. I also think we should appreciate someone called Joke Bakari. Here is a young lady who has a great appetite for hard work. At the same time, she has a televisual charm, and she gets the job done. And I'm happy you set this place up the way you've done. But that's only the beginning. More challenges are coming to you, and you and your group, we appreciate you. I now want to appreciate the chairman of our organization, BOF, and I'm talking of Dr. Jeba. I call him Jeba. Joel Ewuga Babankadze Adagazo. He is, when you go back home, he's a big chieftain in Nasarawa, and he does pharmacy proud. His constituency is very robust, and I'm not surprised because Babankadze means father of the family. He is the father of many families. Your time has been quite exciting as chairman, but it's only one of the rungs of the ladder. May God make you finish strong. We should now appreciate all those from the other professional groups who are here. It's not easy to get them to be here. And I see all of you, I know some of you. You have history in your various professions. You are appreciated by us. And please keep that union going. That's the only way this field can go. The chairman of this occasion is very much here. Manason, you are somebody I have known in your field of the laboratory sciences, and the big boy in your profession, Professor Abunlawa, is somebody that we have worked in committees with, not only here in Lagos, but at the villa. And I'm happy that you have become the president of all the associations put together. I'm sure you are a pride to Gombe and Nigeria. Not to forget the guest speaker that you have very wisely chosen. And I'm speaking of Professor John Olalere Baale. Of course, his brand name is LB, Lere Baale. But today you now know that he is also John. But you couldn't have made a better choice. Well grounded in many subject areas and representing pharmacy within the profession, outside, within Nigeria, and also internationally. He's somebody to watch in our profession. So now it's left for me to congratulate you once more. I looked at the program of yesterday, and I think we did well yesterday, especially the young man that you brought to talk to you about the future. That, I think, is a pragmatic way of sending a message that you have not chosen this theme in vain. Pharmacists are very forward-looking people, and the time is coming when our real value will be made available to the generality of the community. We have gone a long way. When we look back, we have made some gains. So those of you who have been on the fight stand, especially some people in that area I'm looking at, I know you, the Lagos group, you've done a lot. Don't be disillusioned. We've made some gains, but the mileage ahead is still a bit long. May God help us as we do the struggle. Now, this theme has to do with leveraging and mentorship. Let me just make some comments, because I know the guest speaker is going to really dig deep and make some recommendations. First of all, mentor. Some of you who are close to me know that in the last few months now I've been studying some Greek. And I go to school to learn it because it is relevant to my spiritual development and relevant to some of the researches I'm making on why Nigeria and Africa don't work. So I'm a little student now, learning alpha, beta, delta, epsilon, zeta, neta. And you'll be surprised what you gain. It doesn't sound pharmaceutical, but at the end of it, I'm now becoming quite confident about certain old bits of information which were neglected, which Africans were supposed to know to reboot, to renew their strategy for independence, true independence. And I'm happy that some people are encouraging me. I have mentors who are doing that. Now, mentor itself is not new. And it's because I'm studying this language of Greek that I also got to be more familiar. I know that it was a poet called Homer, a Greek poet called Homer, who in the year 800 BC wrote a poem which he entitled The Odyssey. It's called The Odyssey because it describes King Odysseus. King Odysseus was involved in the Trojan War, which some of us must have heard about. That took 10 years for him to prosecute. But it took him another 10 years to come back. But when he was leaving, he handed over the care of his palace, the care of his family, to somebody, a friend of his, who was a teacher of persons. And that person was called mentor. That, my friends, is how mentor traveled into the French language, it traveled into the Latin language, and it came to English as mentor. And because we were colonized by the British, mentor is what we used, and we still use, to describe persons who teach others values of survival in life. If we had been a powerful Nigerian community, we would be using our own language. For example, I know that my chairman's state is Gombe. And I know that in the Tangale language of his people, a mentor is called an ufua. Am I wrong, sir? So instead of mentor, we will have been saying, you are my ufua. But people will laugh at you because we have a colonial mentality. That's by the way. I also want to observe that a mentor has very many descriptions. By the way, in America now, the females are saying, why mentor? Men. It should be femtor. You know, strange things are coming from that part of the world, and you know that yourself. So you can say a mentor is an advisor, is a guide, and so on. But they're saying it should be a femtor as well. I believe that we must have some of the small ingredients. One is that a mentor many times is not as popular or as visible as the mentee. One example is Thomas Jefferson. His mentor was somebody called George Mason. Both of them, among 16 others, were the founders, the founding fathers of the U.S. But Jefferson is the one touted now as the president, the third president, and, Constitution, Declaration of Independence. That mentor that he mentioned in his books It's not mentioned. So that's one of the characteristics. You also find that sometimes a mentor doesn't make any noise and it's not even related to the success. Take Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is a daily expression. Who would have known it was Maya Angelou, another well-known American, the poet, that mentored her? Remember, she was working in a radio station and she was thrown out as being no use. Maya picked her up. But it's also not always that you ought to have met your mentor. Take, for example, Martin Luther King Jr. His mentor was Mahatma Gandhi, who had left these parts of the world before him. By reading his writings and his works. So you'll find that you can apply that to us here. But to be a mentor, you have to have it here. You cannot be a mentor just because you are older than somebody. No. Some mentors are younger than the mentees. And I'm happy that this organization is facing this particular subject. Because mentoring is basic to the development of any profession. And that's why the Academy ran a mentoring program some 8 years ago. Some of you would know this. And we've been bringing the people. Because if you don't have it, rubbish in, rubbish out, garbage in, garbage out. Lawyers will tell you there's a nemo dat rule. Nemo dat, quod non, habet. You cannot give that which you do not have. This was a decision already taken in 1875 in the House of Lords in England. I'm talking about 1875. If I ask Nigerians now, what happened to you in 1875? The records are lost. So I think that record keeping is very important for this organization. Because many organizations lack records. Data unavailable. If they are unavailable, don't just sit down in sadness. Create the data that you need. That's where pharmacists are proactive. And I think we can make sure that whoever is a mentor has some knowledge. If, by some illustration, you're talking to a student that you want to mentor, he raises something, say, something like aspirin. I said, I got this problem, I'm doing this research in it, and you know nothing about aspirin yourself, or you've forgotten it because you are expired. Many professionals are expired. They will not admit it, but they are expired. So you say to yourself, for example, if a student asks you, my lecturer was talking about the 3 groups within the activities of the aspirin, you have to scratch your head. But you must prepare yourself when you're going to meet that kind of student. And when you do so, you can say to him, yes, there are 3 functional groups. There is the carboxylic acid group, there's the ester group, and of course there is the aromatic group. When you say that, he respects you, and you can then go on mentoring. I also believe, ladies and gentlemen, that knowledge is one thing, character is important for a mentor. That's why I mentioned some of the leaders earlier now. And many of you are also there. We are living in a nation that is challenged. And the issue of mental health has become very important. Sometime last week, I quickly dashed to Abidjan for a conference of mental health. And it's amazing what you learn. But the thing I learned that I can share with you is that 21% of any group has mental problems. And very often, you sit with people in a group, a quarter of whom have mental problems. So when we look at this hall, just check it out. The truth is that many people are crazy and few people are walking the streets. These are issues that even the younger people are facing. They are mentally challenged even before they develop. So mentoring is that important. Way forward, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what I want to say by way of rounding up is as follows. That mentoring is important. It must be sustained as a program within the BOF. I am the happiest person in this hall. I just said that Bruno was my assistant secretary. In 1971, I made a proposal to the PSN conference, national conference, about setting up a board of fellows. It was opposed. I mean, I was a young man. Bruno was a young man. Bruno is older than me by a few hours. And I... Okay, look at his fingers. It's 2 hours. And of course, Obiora now is very boastful about his age. But the thing is that 1971, I put that motion on. It was moved by some elder people. It was opposed. Oh, you are creating a class of people. Oh, you're doing this. I did my homework between 1971 and 1972. In 1972, I re-proposed it, stating the 8 responsibilities and challenges and the advantages of having that kind of board. It was opposed, but I already did my homework, and I had a list of the people to be approved for the first set. You find that on page whatever there. Everybody agreed, but as soon as that list came out, I was virulently opposed again, especially by those whose names were not there. What do you mean? I'm older than this one. I'm this and that. But I tried to manage it. And that's why in 1973, we had a celebration admitting the first set of fellows into our midst as a professional group. Remember that, in fact, I looked at this list now and there's a little error there. I will talk to the authorities. I think it was in 1991, Obiora, right, that you became a fellow? Also, Nwankwo, both of you. For the next 2 years, I was under pressure by people. I want to be. Why should that be? But I keep telling people that there's a philosophy. It's always better for people to ask you, why are you not a fellow? Than for people to ask you, why are you a fellow? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I agree that there are many people who should be fellows today who are not. There are many who should not be who are. But that's what life is all about. So the next thing as a board of fellow chairperson is for you to continue to manage this body of persons. Because one of the 8 points I made that time was that we needed a board of fellows from whose rank we will continually select leadership for the profession. Not only for the profession, you remember that 2 years later at the Bagauda Lake Hotel, I had proposed that we should have sectional groups. That's why you have ACPN and this kind of thing today. From them should also be drawn leadership for those. So if you are going to be a leader, you got to be a leader. A dealer in hope for the profession. A dealer in hope for the profession. Much is given to you when you are a fellow. Much is expected. Remember, we created our own fellows in 1972. The lawyers did not do theirs until April 1973, when their first fellow was FRA Williams. Look at what SANS are doing. SANS have their problems. 32 of my classmates are sounds. But I'm saying they have their problems, we have our problems. Let's face our problems, and we will succeed. I also feel that we need to sow the seeds of understanding among ourselves as professionals. We have enough of negative whispers. We have enough of Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is a German word, and it describes a situation where people are happy because their neighbors are suffering. Something happens to your neighbor and you celebrate it. That's Schadenfreude. In our profession, we should move together. And as a fellow, you must know that much is expected of you. You are like the gold standard for the profession. But if gold rusts, what will iron do? The struggle continues. And I say to you now, congratulations again. We must team together to ask the question people are asking themselves everywhere in the world. Quo vadis? Where is pharmacy going? What is the next step to be taken? Quo vadis? I mean, somebody like Modi will be saying, the Echo people will say, Mbulan law. The thing is, where is pharmacy going? The group to decide it is here. You are the only group that is represented across all the sections. And I believe that if we get together, we'll be able to defeat attitudes like, because I have a title, I'm entitled. Title never gives entitlement. So we have to rediscover our professional qualities so that we can recover our professional personality. And as we have sufficient, we have sufficient value of very important people here that can work together and make this happen. Samora Machel was the leader of Mozambique, and he was too passionate about making Mozambique independent. Of course, the colonialists made sure they killed him. But he was one that started with the whole idea that together, everything will be better. I think that if we work together, everything will be better. And together, we'll be stronger. And that's why he said, a luta continua. Victoria asata. Vincere, vinceremus. Some people only want the first line, a luta continua. But there are 3 lines that the owner of the expression put. One is a luta continua. That means where the struggle continues. Victoria asata. Victory is certain. Vinceremus. Vinceremus, we shall overcome. And that is where Martin Luther King got that word. We shall overcome. Now, pharmacy will overcome. Pharmacy is good. Pharmacy is something to make you happy. I am proud to be a pharmacist. Are you? Are you? No, it's not the clap. Answer me. I am proud to be a pharmacist. Are you? That's not loud enough now. Let's do it again. Are you proud to be a pharmacist? Ha, ha, ha. Chukudalu.
Let's put our hands together for our Father of the Day. Please, sir, I just want to seize this opportunity, have this photograph, and please let the shoe of our Father of the Day show. Put your hands together for... That photograph that I've just taken can be my visa to some offices here to remind you that I am associated with the Father of the Day. When you listen to someone who is more than 80 years old speak with extraordinary diction, extemporaneously for that matter, You can't but admire all the things that she has been telling us. Let's put our hands together for our father of the day. We have Admiral Dr. Oshoba Festus, the president of the Chartered Institute of Administration in our midst. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome. Right, I'm going to invite Abs now. I don't know who is your choir master to lead us in a pharmacy anthem. Okay. Head of choir or choir mistress, sorry. And then thereafter, we will take Green Life. They'll have another 8 minutes to present to us. So please, Abs, like I informed us or reminded us again, our Father of the Day composed this anthem for us. You won't? Okay, so let's clap for Green Life while they take another 10 minutes and do their presentation. Green Life, please. Can we have our seats? Going around when others are seated is not respectful enough. And so don't allow me to begin to write your names and submit to the high table for sanctions. All right, so let's put our hands together for Green Life. You have 10 minutes. 8 minutes, I will come and give you paper. And then by 2 minutes after then, making 10 minutes, your time will be up.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shola from Green Life Pharmaceuticals, and I'm here to briefly introduce our great product to you on male infertility. We'll get to know that, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. So we're introducing our product to you called Manix. And like I said earlier on, our focus will be on male infertility. And I think I was saying why male infertility. We'll get to know. So when we talk about infertility, we're starting with the global prevalence and its impact. WHO actually estimates about 60 to 80 million % of couples worldwide currently suffer from male infertility. And this varies across about 8 to 12% globally. There's a slogan that says that its occurrence, in densely populated countries, barrenness tends to be plenty, and we'll find out why. I don't know why. Childless couples face various challenges which can lead to separation, depression, suicide, and violence. Now let's come closer home. WHO actually estimates that in African continents, especially Nigeria, that barrenness or infertility in Nigeria is about 30% prevalence. So that should answer why we've actually, as a company, come to discuss male infertility. We have We have two types of infertility. We have the primary infertility and the secondary infertility. Okay. Primary infertility has to do with the inability of a couple to conceive after 2 years of exposure to pregnancy. They're sexually active, non-contraceptive being used, and also non-lactating.
I just want to appeal to us. It is actually culturally and professionally very rude and wrong for us to make noise, move around while our elders are in our midst. That's one of the reasons why some people don't come for our program, because they feel that sometimes we just lose it and then begin to make noise and there is no focus of what we have come to do for the day. I want to appeal to us. If you have to make any noise or discussion, please walk out gently. It is not right. It is not cultural. It is not professional. Thank you.
Second type of infertility, we have the secondary infertility. That's the inability of a couple to conceive after the first pregnancy. Now, data available to us now shows that men are actually equal contributors to male infertility, or to infertility general. Gone are the days when we used to say that women are the ones that had the issues, women had various factors that were causing infertility. Now, when we talk about the male reproductive system, we have 4 points of approach. It consists of the testes, the ducts, the accessory glands, and the supporting structures. Now, in the process of spermatogenesis, which is production of sperm, there are 9 points of action. We start from the hypothalamus that secretes the gonadotropin-releasing hormones. Because I'm building on this so we'll understand why Manason is important. Now, these gonadotropin-releasing hormones, we know, they actually act on the pituitary gland that secretes the LH, the luteinizing hormone, and the FSH, the follicle-stimulating hormone. The luteinizing hormone binds on the Leydig cells, and that's where the production of testosterone occurs. Testosterone also acts on the Sertoli cells and begins the process of spermatogenesis. This is the 9 points of action. I only have 10 minutes, so please permit me to run through the slides. So when we talk about male infertility, we have different causes. We have the physical causes, examples, varicoses, which has to do with the enlargement of the internal spermatic ducts. We have torsion, which is twisting of the testes inside the scrotum. And other examples are infections and diseases, which are physical causes of male infertility. Some monominal causes of male infertility are the inadequate release of GnRH, which we saw on the first cascade. So anything that actually disrupts the production of GnRH affects male infertility. And in some cases, excess levels of LH, luteinizing hormone, and the follicle-stimulating hormone produced can actually lead to affect the positive and the negative feedback that occurs. We also have psychological and behavioral causes of male infertility, common erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and ejaculatory incompetence. Other causes of male infertility are smoking, alcohol, excessive alcohol usage, stress, God will help us in Nigeria, then inadequate vitamin C and zinc in our diet, wearing too tight underwear. This won't allow the scrotum to flow freely. This can also cause infertility. Now, over the years, doctors and scientists have found various treatments of male infertility. They've tried to produce drugs to pass through the blood-testis barrier. Currently, no sure treatment has been produced. They've produced drugs to improve the penile blood flow, which we're familiar with, the sildenafil and the tadalafils, but we know about the side effects. It's not been encouraging. Hormonal therapy has been used. Some people use multivitamins, minerals, and oxidants and antioxidants to improve this male infertility. With success, minimal success. Then thank God now for IVF intervention, ICS, which is also very expensive, all in the bid to improve male infertility and stop the prevalence. Now, thank God for our product, Manix capsules. It's a natural drug that works synergistically with the hormonal region and the testicular region of a man. So now we're back to our cascade, which we saw earlier on. How does Manix work? Now remember, these are the 9 points of action. The ninth point at which spermatogenesis actually occurs in the body. And we are saying that if a patient takes Manix stimulates the hypothalamus to produce gonadotropin hormone, which you saw earlier. It also acts on the pituitary gland. It stimulates the Leydig cells to help in the production of testosterone. Manix also stimulates the Sertoli cells where spermatogenesis occurs and spermatozoa is being produced. All this is stored in the epididymis, where Manix also improves the seminal fluid and the prostatic fluid, which nourishes and also encapsulates the sperm produced. Manix reduces inflammation through the whole cascade. Manix also improves the penile blood flow, giving this man the long-lasting erection that he actually wants. Manix also regenerates the generation of cells. These cells we're talking about are the Sertoli cells that are being used in the process of spermatogenesis, and also the Leydig cells that are being acted upon. Now, how can we boldly come here to this great audience and say Manix does all this? We've had various trials that have been done. Trials that have been done in India, and also at home here, we've done a trial in Lutz. The first clinical trial that was done in Nigeria was done in Lutz by a consultant urologist, Dr. Tijani, who is still in Lutz, the HOD right now, and Dr. Kehinde, also of the pathology department in Lutz. Now, this study was independent of Green Life, which you can see when it was done. The study was done in, I think, 2006, and another repeat one in 2011. It was independent of Green Life when it was done. It was a single-blind, single-centered, randomized study. 40 oligospermic patients were taken, aged between 25 to 50 years. There were two groups. The first group had patients on Manix, and then also a placebo group, about 15 in numbers. It was a 90 days trial. We all know that spermatogenesis takes place in about 72 to 90 days in men. So this trial was done for 90 days. On the first day, a baseline test was taken. Blood samples collected and semen samples collected. And this went on for the 40th day, the 72nd day, and at the end of the study, the samples were also taken. So what's the evidence or the results from their trials? Now, they're saying that when these patients were placed on Manix, trying to rush that. Okay. So there's a significant increase in the sperm count from a mean of 5 million to 23 million. In terms of the motility, there was an increase from 29% to 67%. In terms of the morphology, patients on Manix, there was a 19% increase from 40% to 75%. In areas of the semen volume, there was an increase from 3.2 mil to 4.5 mil at the end of the 90th day, improvements in the testosterone and baseline. So the conclusion, the trial showed that Manix has a significant and impressive effect on both the hormonal levels and the semen quality. It was generally well tolerated for 90 days. And, okay, so what are the indications for Manix? Manix helps in improving the libido, which is the urge to have sex, and also the sexual performance. Manix helps in the stimulation of spermatogenesis process, which you saw earlier on. It helps in infertility and is a restorative tonic to help with excessive stress. The dosage for Manix is 1 capsule taken BD with milk or after food. The therapy actually runs for about 90 days, which we saw. Are there adverse drug reactions? It's generally well tolerated. Why? Because it's polyherbal, it's natural, and has limited or no side effects. Now, we're saying in Green Life, Manix brings hope to the family. And I'm sure you all agree with me. It binds the family together. Thank you so much.
Let's put our hands together again for her. She has done very well. Even though we didn't give the first speaker, the opportunity to entertain questions, but maybe just 2 minutes, because she managed her time very well. I just want to make a comment. You mentioned about 9 causes of infertility. There is one that research has not been able to prove, and that is the one caused by witches and wizards. I don't know whether there's a scientist in Nigeria that will find out how that comes about. But on a serious note, do we have questions for her? Let's put our hands together. If you want to see her, you can only see her much later. Thank you so much. And see that they still have their stand outside. We'll be taking the opening address by the chairman of the day, and I'll be calling on one of our colleagues, Pharmacist Edith Wanchuku, to introduce our chairman for the occasion. Let's put our hands together for Pharmacist Edith.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yesterday was good. Today is already better. But I want us to do something, because we are all seated, and someone has made it possible for us all to wake up and to gather, and that we are healthy. Shall we just give a clap offering to that man that made it possible? A better clap offering to the King of Kings. A better clap offering to the Lord of Lords. A better clap offering to the Ancient of Days. That you're not lying on your hospital bed is something to thank him for. Thank God. God bless you real good. Praise God. The Chairman Board of Fellows, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. I can't stand on it. I can't say any other protocol, because the father of the day had a special protocol. So I stand on that existing protocol. I'm just here to do something to introduce the chairman of the day. Can I please ask you to humbly stand up so they will know who I'm talking about? Mr. Manason Gakwa Rubianu was born at about 14 hours Nigerian time on Wednesday, August the 14th, 1957, to the Reverend and Mrs. Rubianu Gakwa in Kumo, Ako local government area of the present Gombe State. Mr. M.G. Rubianu is a graduate of chemistry from the Ahmadu Bello University. I think Yunusa should be clapping wherever he is. And Alege should also be clapping. And was the first employed as medical laboratory technologist in training by the old Bauchi State, present Bauchi and Gombe State government, before proceeding to the School of Medical Laboratory Technology of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria, where he obtained the Associate of the Institute of Medical Laboratory Technology, AIMLT, of Nigeria in chemical pathology. Mr. Rubianu, known more by his first name, Manason, had an eventful working life in the hospital laboratories between August 13th, 1982, when he was first employed, till he retired on August 14, 2017, as the first Director, Medical Laboratory Services, DMLS, of the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada, Abuja. During this period, Mr. Rubianu progressed from a bench medical laboratory scientist performing routine testing to medical laboratory manager and leader, DMLS. He underwent numerous in-service training during this period in many disciplines and specialties of the medical laboratory science practice. He received training in medical laboratory instrumentations, test methods and techniques, quality management system, medical laboratory audit, safety audit, among others. Manason chair the Medical Laboratory Equipment Standardization and Harmonization, has been the chairman of the Evaluation of HIV Testing Technologies, chairman of the National HIV Laboratory Test Team, NHLTT, Federal Ministry of Health from 2010 to date. He is currently chairman, Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria's FAMLSN, In Vitro Diagnostics Technical Committee. Mr. M.G. Rubianu has served as board member of FAMLSN, University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, and Federal Medical Center, Makurdi. He is a past president of the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, FAMLSN. He is president, Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, APBN. Mr. Manason is a fellow of the West African Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science, FWAPCLMS, Faculty of Molecular Diagnostics and Translation Science, Fellow Institute of Management Consultants, and Fellow Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria. I present to you the chairman of today, Mr. Manason Gakowa Rubianu.
Thank you very much, and I don't have any protocol. I have adopted the protocol of Prince Adelusi. I'll start by saying that one of the fights I did was because of the prince. And it happened a long time ago when he was appointed minister. If you remember that time, some of our colleagues in the health sector opposed it. So some of us fought on his part in our own locality. And I remember making a statement. I said, my goodness, you people have gone to school, but it doesn't seem you are educated. And they took offense. And it became a big, big wahala. So I admired him long time that time. And I remember when they were making all the noise, he never responded, and he just behaved like a minister. And I admired him very much until eventually I met him one time. And seeing him today, he doesn't seem to have changed. He's still looking the same. I'll get to him and I will learn, maybe as a laboratory scientist, I will take his blood and go away with it. You know, we do something called personalized medicine nowadays. And we want to tell the pharmacists that nowadays you don't just prescribe aspirin or whatever drug. We have a lot of knowledge now in pharmacogenomics. So we look at somebody's genomic constitution and determine what drug is most suitable for him. We don't now give drugs for treatment of a disease the way we used to. If you have malaria, okay, me, the anti-malaria I know is still chloroquine. You people use artesunate, isn't it? I don't know who told you chloroquine was bad. But you cannot prescribe artesunate on the board. If you do pharmacogenomics, you will discover that some people will still prefer other anti-malarials that will work better for them. But I will be interested in his blood so that I'll extract his genes. All of you say, when God created us, you've just heard that I'm a pastor's son, isn't it? So I've always read the Bible all through, even while I was in the womb. God did something. When God created man, he created this world for men. Oh, sorry, ladies. Because when he finished creation on Friday and he rested on Sunday, there was no woman. It was much later when he saw the man, he said, oh, it's not good for a man to be alone. So women was an afterthought. I didn't say that. It's the Bible that said that. I didn't say it. But you know, God taught us a lot of things. They say he removed one of the ribs, isn't it? And made a woman. You know why the ribs? The rib contains bone marrow, isn't it? So it's a pluripotential cell. If you carry that tissue, bone marrow, you can change it into anything. So he now used it to create a woman. That's what we know today as cloning, isn't it? So God started cloning for us. But if you clone, you end up with the same species and same genetic constitution. But he wanted to change this human being. Therefore, he quickly went and did genetic manipulation. So he's changed the genetic constitution of XY to XX. Women are more sophisticated than men because of those things. So now we can take, if I take Prince Adelui's blood, I'll go and extract those genes that are not making him to get old, and I will transcribe it to myself so that I will continue to be young like him. I want to thank the Board of Fellows of PSN for inviting me to chair this occasion. When I got the invitation, I don't have a choice, because the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria is one of the member bodies of APBN in whom we are well pleased. It is one of the member bodies that has consistently been up to date in all finances and in all activities. So they are a special, responsible, highly respected member body of APBN. Just a few weeks ago, they hosted us for the board meeting of APBN. So I didn't have a choice, but I have to come here. And I have known Dr. Adagazu for a very long time. Nice gentleman. Sometimes some of us can be protagonists of the aluta continuas. And but in the ministry, sometimes when we go and we are hot, he will pipe us down. But what I admired about him, he is very cerebral, very objective, not given to sentiments, very analytical. And I found him very, very useful. So when I saw his name as the chairman of I said, oh, I have to be here. Pharmacy is a very, very important profession. In those days in ABU, the Department of Chemistry offers 3 bachelor's degrees, bachelor's degree in pharmacy, bachelor's degree in industrial chemistry, bachelor's degree in chemistry. Then eventually, pharmacy left and became a faculty. Industrial chemistry left and became a department of chemical engineering. Okay, biochemistry also left and and then left the chemistry again. So I know pharmacy as chemistry. And I don't know who started medicine. Is it pharmacists or doctors? I don't know, because I used to know from history. Let me just even talk about the Arabian alchemists. They were pharmacists, isn't it? But they were doctors, because you come to them with your ailment, they will do the diagnosis, and then they will brew the medicines from plants. So I don't know whether you people are just people who produce drugs, or you are people who manage ailments. Whichever it is, I want to encourage pharmacists to be forthright. I have noticed that almost everybody in Nigeria now is becoming a herbalist. They will come and tell me, Zogale that I've eaten all my life. They will come and they call it moringa, isn't it? I listen to somebody come and tell me everything that moringa does. So I was wondering, I've been eating that moringa from childhood in different forms. I just feel that if I believe what they are saying, then I should not even have any headache. And that is why we would want pharmacists to take the lead in this. It is very, very important so that we can bring in science and produce empirical evidence. I listened to this lecture of infertility. It's true. I'm one of the few people. As a lab scientist, even in Nigeria, I was the first to be trained in vitro fertilization. And it is true, 50% of infertility is male factor. 40%, female 40%, 20% is both. And these 20%, when they separate, all of them become fertile. But if they remain together, they are infertile. But if you look at the presentation, and that is why I want pharmacists to be very, very, very much in the forefront. If you look at where the Manix works, I'm not criticizing, but I just saw, if you look at some of the places they work, if you are producing, you are encouraging the hypothalamus to produce hormones that will stimulate the pituitary glands. You cannot stimulate, that drug cannot stimulate the pituitary gland as well. Because if the pituitary gland is stimulated, it will suppress the anterior pituitary. So you see, we need pharmacists to do the scientific work so that we get balanced information. Pharmacy is important for society. Pharmacy is central for the health of a society. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm willing to listen to the lecture on mentoring. Mentoring is key to professionalism and to development of professions. And I can tell you, things are going bad. Things are going bad, and people are losing professionalism. So we need mentoring more than ever before. I really am happy. I'll be willing to listen to this lecture very well, and I encourage all of us to follow it closely so that we create a very good, vibrant, sustainable pharmaceutical industry. I thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together again for our chairman of the day. Thank you very much, sir, for the sacrifice and for your time coming down to us in Lagos to be with us. We'll be going straight to listen to Professor Lere Baale. And I'm not sure if all of us did what I did when our Father of the Day was speaking. He introduced and addressed everybody by all their names. First, middle, surname. And I was just wondering, except you are cerebral, except you are very friendly, except you don't have dementia, you can't but, do what he has done today. Some of us are just in our 40s and our 50s. You can't even remember, the surname of your classmate 30 years ago. And you could tell us who was his secretary in 1971. So, for instance, in this place, how many people can I call by their three names? Maybe just like Rametu or Mamegbe, There's no other, because we're in school together. But otherwise, it's a very big attribute that all of us need to emulate. Let's put our hands together for our Father of the Day again. And the Chairman of the Day, thank you so much. Thank you for, those. One of the comments that somebody made when we were talking about extracting the gene of our Father of the Day and becoming young like him or not as old, He said that it's not just going to make you young, but the extraction can also make you fairer like him, So you become as... Let's call pharmacist Margaret Obono to introduce our guest lecturer. Put your hands together for her, please.
The chairman of today's occasion, the BOF chairman, the Father of the Day, the guest lecturer, the convener of the planning committee, the high table, very senior colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I have the task of introducing this distinguished pharmacist and fellow who is going to give us the keynote or the public lecture today. And so I will start by saying, our speaker for today is an inspirational speaker. Sorry, please, thank you. Thank you for standing. I didn't do that. He's a seasoned business coach, a visionary leader, and a passionate entrepreneur. He leverages his rich strategy skills, enterprise architecting, and transformational experience within pharma and telecoms and higher educational sectors. He creates and translates visions into reality in order to manage business opportunities in the economies of Africa and the Middle East. He is easily described as a result-oriented leader who inspires world-class leaders to take action even in chaos to achieve results. I thought you put your hands together for me. A strong believer that opportunities are usually wrapped in impossibilities. He has a deep foundational philosophy guided by personal principles that each creation has a unique fingerprint to live in divine purpose, passion, and praise, to always aspire to inspire and make global impact. Make each life counts before expiration and departure to meet the Messiah. Currently, our speaker is the CEO of Business School of Netherlands, Nigeria, and serves as Regional Director of CMOE Incorporated USA in Middle East and Africa regions, using HOA's Consulting Group as platform for the promotion of global partners' integrated consulting solutions in the region. He is a professor of organization transformation at Business School Netherlands International, Netherlands. He is a certified action learning coach. Our speaker, Professor Lere Baale, is a registered pharmacist. He's a fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. He's a fellow of the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Pharmacy. He is also a fellow of the Institute of Marketing and Management. He currently serves as the General Secretary of the Nigerian Academy of Pharmacy. Professor Baale is a facilitator at Command Staff College, Jaji. He is on the board of Alumni Association of Haggai Leadership International USA, a distinguished Toastmaster, a charter president of BSN Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join me in welcoming Professor Lere Baale, a member of Ikoyi Club also. He is a model family man, married to a pharmacist, and a pharmacist who is his childhood friend. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming this distinguished pharmacist, Professor Lere Baale.
Very kind of you. Thank you for this great honor. I'm honored to be here. When my senior in Pfizer, Mr. Lere FAMLSN, called me to tell me I'd be delivering a lecture, I just thought it was like any other lecture. And I assumed so because I'm used to just teaching. Little did I know that it was the 5th annual lecture for Board of Fellow. I knew it was going to be for Board of Fellow. I just thought it was to keep people busy while they are eating. No, I'm serious. Since I was not going to be part and parcel of yesterday's entrepreneurial thing. Until I had this program this morning, and I realized that there are notable people. I'm basically the first pharmacist to deliver this annual lecture. And so I feel it's a great honor to me. Thank you. With that introduction, the chairman for this occasion, Dr. Manason Rubianu, who is also the president of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, where I was a guest speaker in 2020. That was before he became the president. The father of the day, our Lord Pharmaceutical, Prince Julie Adelusi, and mentor of mentors. The chairman of our prestigious Board of Fellow, Dr. Chief Joel Adagasu, whom we work together and serve at the national level. I served with Dr. Emafo as National Public Secretary, and that was the time I met him, and it's been a very great association. when we had our program at PSN conference in Bauchi, even though Chief Adagatsu is not from Bauchi, but he actually hosted me and hosted my childhood friend, my wife, for this. Thank you so much, sir. I cannot but thank all the past presidents as represented by the chairman, the former past president of PSN and current chairman of PSN Foundation, Alhaji Yaro Buddha, who I believe is also representing the other college of president. I cannot but also acknowledge the presence here of chairman of board of fellows from Uncle Bruno, which is one of my mentors while I was in the pharma industry, to Elder Adeleke, who is not just a mentor for me in pharmacy. He was the first person to introduce me to entrepreneurship in 1983. When he was country manager for Nicholas Laboratory, he allowed a business that I started with my wife for us to become distributor. I'm really grateful. But in addition to that, he's also my biological father, Chief Adeleke, yes. We are from the same place. So, and also, a learned chairman of Board of Fellows, Uncle Chedu. I want to say thank you. I'd like to thank all the others sitting on that table as well. Professor Biora, Papa and Mama Oshinoiki, whom I've met just about the time they started. My uncle, who introduced me to pharmacy, was living opposite their house, Uncle Niyo Yipo, who is now late, and who brought me into pharmacy itself. So, I want to say thank you to you. Let me also acknowledge the chairmen of various technical groups. I've cited in particular my chairman for ECPN, pharmacist Prince Wale Oladigbolu. I'm sure I saw him when he was coming. I don't know if he's here. Okay. I want to acknowledge other technical groups. I've also seen the chairman of APS. I want to say welcome, good morning. I cannot but thank every other eminent personality, all members of various technical groups, the state chairmen who are here, and to also thank an inspiring person who moved out of pharmacy with MBA to become a guru in supply chain, and who we have been privileged to have as the master of ceremony for today, Solomon Agboba. Thank you. I have chosen to start this way. My presentation is going to be very simple. I prepare for about 1 hour presentation. Also, I have to make it shorter. I will do my best. I'm used to teaching for 8 hours in a day. And for 3 consecutive days like that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for the MBA students, for the past 15 years. So, I will tell you the story of what mentoring could do. A woman lost her her husband at the age of 38, and she had to bring up 5 kids. One of them is a young boy who actually lost the father at a young age of 5. And so had to depend on other people to actually provide inspiration and to provide guidance for him. By stroke of accident, had to be taken to school because he was a restless, noise-making boy. Started schooling and had to be guided at different stages by different people at different times. Was eventually mentored out of primary school and encouraged to go to secondary school, but there was no fee, no money. He met a principal, a reference sister whose name is Reverend Sister Margaret. So you can therefore know Mr. Buno, why I always relate to you. Sister Margaret paid the fees of this young man and mentored him. One of the major influences of mentoring is this boy happens to be a noisemaker. And he says there's nothing wrong in noisemaking. Instead of correcting the boy, he said, it's very nice to be making noise, but I want you to learn how to make useful noise. Have a copy of this book, read it. By weekend, I would like to have a discussion with you. You give me a summary of the book. Every time you feel like making noise, just stand in front of class during prep period and teach them what you've learned in the books that you have read. That was the beginning of this young man starting a journey to be a teacher. He's been mentored by several different people at different stages. This same principal paid the fees for most part of secondary school, and he lived with the reference sister. Eventually started to live with the referent father, who paid his fees for 2 years before leaving the country back to Ireland. And the referent sister continued the payment of fees and mentoring all through the university until he got scholarship. He had to be mentored into the pharma industry after he qualified as a pharmacist. He was mentored in the pharma industry to go for further studies in business admin in 1983. Mentored into finding ways to look for other streams of income. He became a part-time teacher in Lagos Business School. In 2003, he began a journey and interest in academics, also being mentored and advised. Some people have asked several questions. How did you move away from pharma industry after 25 years and you are now in academics and you're already this? It has taken 20 years in the academic industry. That same young man who was unlucky to have lost a father at the age of 5, but very lucky to have mentors to fill the gap at every time he needed a fatherly figure, is the person standing before you today. I'm also a fellow of the Mentors and Development Association, Institute of Nigeria. I'm particularly interested in mentoring. But remember that there are very few mentees who are serious about mentoring. Most people walk up to you and say, can you be my mentor? You agree. They can't even follow up with you. They won't give you a call. I'm not sure if some of you will have had the experience. So our problem is that we don't have mentees who are interested to be mentored. So the Board of Fellows should make it a point of duty to set up institution for mentoring. And you are going to see the reason. Please, can you put on my... I hope you can see me. This lantern appears to be such a tall one. And because of my height, I will need to walk away from it once in a while so that you can see the person talking. Good. Good. I'm starting with the concept of grace. And I'm not discussing grace from a spiritual angle. So don't think I want to preach a sermon. But if I preach a sermon, of course you know, it's natural for me. The word gratitude, resilience, aspiration, courage, and empathy are the essential qualities of outstanding transformative leadership. I'm particularly interested in leadership. I'm interested in leadership because at a very young age, after I had my MBA, I was going to be promoted in the office. And one of the major factors against me was the fact that I do not have charisma. And the personnel manager told me I don't have charisma. And the meaning of charisma is physique. You will be a 6-footer like Solo. You know, when he stands here to speak, everybody kept quiet. When I wanted to speak, people started to make noise. So I wanted to know how do I develop charisma? I started to take a lot of milk, sugar, and I did not grow. And I realized the fact that leadership is about communication, it's about engagement, it's about listening, it's about accountability, it's about communication. And I know that these are things that people could really read and learn about. And so instead of giving me a role as a manager on my first promotion from being a rep, I was given an officer role. And the personnel manager said, we are putting you on trial. Because 1, you don't have the charisma of leadership. Number 2, you are very close to the junior workers. You play with everybody. And we don't think you will be able to have that charisma to be able to get people to do things, to get things to do. I'm a very playful person. And till tomorrow, even my wife will not believe she's still my wife, even though she spent some months in my house now. Because she told me from day one that I'm not serious. The day I met her is the day I proposed to her, and I told her, the way I see you, you are going to marry me, either you like it or not. but I know I will take care of you. And she just saw me like a joker. I don't know if she's waking up of her dream now. Like this. She's been in my house for some time. The qualities for driving positive change, inspiring and creating a lasting impact is transformative leadership. So I kept on reading everything I could about leadership. I wanted to be impactful. And of course, within 1 year, I made such a great impact, I was moved away from research and promotion to becoming a product manager. And the rest is history. I spent 25 years in Pfizer. I was in 12 different roles, meaning that in each of the cases, I was too young for every role I was given that was handed over to me. And I know, even after I left Pfizer and I wanted to open a pharmacy, one of the comments that this young boy, where did he find money to open a pharmacy? You know, and I can understand. And my face looks like the face of a baby as well, because I've been well taken care of by a lot of different fathers, different mentors, male, female, different mothers. Transformative leadership is what anybody who has been a member of Board of Fellow has already achieved something in pharmacy to be recognized. Therefore, our job is to use leadership position to influence the next generation. A lot of things we do for ourselves will die with us. But what we do for other people will remain. And the only reason why we need to be transformative leaders is because we need to leave legacies. So that when we are gone, the product of our investment in other people will remain. And they will also be able to invest in the other generation. So, there are 5 essential qualities that exceptional transformative leaders possess. What are these things? 1 is gratitude. Gratitude is critical. The depth of your gratitude determines the altitude you will reach in life. I'm somebody who is always happy. Not because all my problems are over, no. But I've just chosen to choose the most important thing. One of the things I can't deal with is my height. Am I correct? So, I only tell people, don't call me short. That one annoys me. Because I'm taller than the person who told me I was short, that she could not marry me. It was after we got married that I realized that when I measured the height against the wall and I measured my own, I was already 1 inch taller than her. Is it not over ambition to be seeking for a 6-footer to marry her? I'm already taller than her. So, but describe people like us as cute, executively summarized, down to heart. Am I not cute? Thank you. Good. So, we need to build positivity. And as we build positivity into our environment, people are going to be inspired. You cannot mentor somebody who is not inspired by you. And we spend more time at work than we spend in our homes. I'm married to a girl. I paid dowry before the valuation of local currency, by the way. So if I've invested that kind of money in Microsoft, Bill Gates should be inviting me to be a co-director by now. But still, I spent that huge money as dowry for her. And I kept on giving her free food, free accommodation. I even blessed her with two kids, you know. 1 tall boy, 1 tall girl. You know, I've tried. Thank you. So, but I spend only a fraction of the time with her compared to what I spend at work. We spend a minimum of 8 hours at work. We hardly spend up to 2 hours with our spouses at home. So, we need to really develop a system of mentoring people we work with. And like I've told you, if you mentor people, if you want to mentor somebody and that person is not inspired by you, then you cannot mentor the person. Because it starts with inspiration. So you must be positive. You must see positivity in those people as well. We need to show resilience. I've gone through ups and downs in life. And in each of the time you go through ups and downs, false accusations, things like that, whatever it is, you must be able to bounce back. If you don't bounce back, then you don't have resilience. Resilience is key. And particularly in a society and an environment that is, everybody will have a copy of this if you have a WhatsApp or you have an email. It's going to be sent to you on PDF. Don't worry. Just relax. Watch me. If you feel bored, draw me. You know, I used to be at the back of Lagos Weekend every weekend. I'm the what do you call it? You remember the walkabout? Big head, small legs. Many of you have forgotten Lagos Weekend. Or am I talking to a different generation? All right. So resilience is key. We need to show resilience. We must be able to show that we have aspiration. It's not enough to have hindsight. It's not enough to have insight. It's not enough to have an oversight. You must have foresight and farsight. You must have a generational look into things. You must be able to look at what will happen in 25 years' time and start to prepare for it today. Those are the kind of people mentees want. So, if, for example, you want to mentor somebody and you cannot share what you see as future for him. If I'm not mentored, how do you think I move away from academia into industry? I wanted to stay in school and become an MSc. I wanted to go and join Professor Lani. You said, I'm taking you to Ife. It was my external examiner. I did drug design and so many other things. But I listened to counsel of many. I look at my profile. I look at what I desire to be. And I choose what I wanted to be. And I knew one day I was going to retire. And when I retired in the pharma industry, I wanted to remain useful. So I decided to start mentorship. So somebody to mentor me in the academia again. The rest is history. So ladies and gentlemen, aspiration is key as leaders. Courage is key. You must be courageous. Take very difficult decisions. It was a very difficult decision for me to leave Pfizer. It was also a difficult decision for me to be a teacher. I recollect my wife said, something is wrong with you. You need mental check, This is what I enjoy to do. I just love to teach. First, teaching allows me to put a little bit of my life into other people. It gives me a chance to mentor people. It gives me a chance to set a standard for them that I myself have to live, because I'm supposed to be the Bible that they read. I'm not supposed to be sermonizing alone. I'm supposed to live a life that I'm teaching them. So I had to take some courageous decisions, including walking away from corruption, willingness to stand your feet. Thanks for grace. Thanks for divine grace in a lot of things. Ability to confront difficult situations, including confronting those in authority who they are not doing the right thing, should be able to. And it's not easy. And each time I speak in public gathering, there are times people feel offended. It's because you have to speak truth to those in authority. It doesn't mean that you are expecting them to be perfect. And that's the reason why I'm not in politics, even though I wear a wool's cap now every day. This is in remembrance of the person who happens to be the firstborn of my father, who died at the age of 93, and who was the one who mentored me in the family. So, this is his favorite cap. It was an away till he died 2 years ago. And therefore, I decided to inherit part of those caps. So I decided to be wearing it in remembrance of him. He was a courageous man, very good person. Empathy. But today's message is not about this. It is these qualities of grace that shape outstanding leadership. It is these qualities that provide, in order for us to generate another group of leaders, not leaders in pharmacy, no, leaders in the world. I envy Solo. Solo is somebody who is speaking in the committees or in the community of supply chain experts. He's respected. And all he needs to do, I say, can you imagine he's a pharmacist? Instead of saying, he is a pharmacist and therefore better trained to be able to excel in anything. Pharmacy is the best course in the world. With all respect, sir. And for other professionals on the other table, I want any other professional to tell me a course where you can score less than 0 in your exam. None. Not medicine, not engineering, not nuclear physics. In pharmacy, you can score minus 60 all over 60. You have gained 0, you have had 0, and you are going to have subtraction. In pharmacy school, we don't talk of classmates. About 20% of your classmates will drop in your first year. Another 20 will drop. By the time you are finishing, you say, was this one our classmate? Do you not remember we met him or they met you. You know? So pharmacy is best prepared. Through learning and development process, we can cover listed essentials sufficiently. So we want to thank God that the Board of Fellows for providing this opportunity to deliver this speech. The father of the day, I've already shared this story. I'm not going to share it again. And that's the fact that Odysseus had been involved in the Greek war with the Trojans. And he wanted somebody who would take care of his child when he's away. I didn't know he was away for actually 20 years. But basically, he now took his son, Telemachus, to mentor, to take care of him, to guide him. And because Telemachus was mentored by mentor, that gave Telemachus opportunity to be able to rise and to look forward to become a greater person than Odysseus. And you could therefore see that history is no longer important, but it really a mentor is not just an ordinary man. He was seen like he was the goddess Athena assuming the form of mentor to fulfill her divine duty of guiding Telemachus. And so they were spiritually sound. Mentors have good physical energy, good emotional energy, good mental energy, good spiritual energy, good social energy. And it is important for all of us who are members of the Board of Fellows to prepare ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, spiritually. And when I speak socially, I'm not asking you to be a drunkard and be drinking. I don't drink alcohol. But I'm sociable. I mix with people. So, I don't go to parties. Hardly. You said? Yes, even marriages, if you see me, you're likely going to see me for 5 to 15 minutes maximum. For me to spend an hour in any occasion, my wife will be beside me. There will be somebody who will be willing to gist with me. Because if there is no gist, I leave. I'm not adding any values. I just drop my envelope and say, I have many other engagements this day. I go back to my house and go and be eating my amala. Finish. So, essentially, we must be sociable. We must mix with those younger pharmacists. They have challenges. I mean, the person who introduced me today, you introduced me properly, but you miss one thing out. I'm a permanent member of YPG. And what you people have also failed to realize is the fact that half is expanding his food, and I'm likely to also be a permanent member of half. So, now, having gone with this history, mentorship has played a very key role in various societies. In ancient Greece, the great philosophers like Socrates, they mentored young minds, shaping their intellect and character. In Roman Empire, influential leaders mentored their successors. We need to mentor those successors towards these young pharmacists. Rather than say they are too young, we have to. That is, Lere you see in front here is that young boy. I hope you see me now. Who joined Pfizer a few years ago? August 3, 1981. That boy is the same person here today. If he's not mentored, he might have ended up as a miscreant under the bridge. So we must make it a point of duty to pick at least one of them and help them. You can't take many people at a time, no problem, but at least help them. So, during the Middle Ages, apprenticeship emerged as a preeminent form of mentorship. Mentorship has always been with us. In Africa, there's something in our school called action learning. When I was exposed to action learning in 2023, first, I'm a student of history. I love history. Because my father used to tell me that every time I refer to my father, not the one who died when I was 5, the one I grew up with, he used to always say, a man without history has no future. You must know where you are coming from. And never forget, you belong to the Baale family. Give me some history concerning the Baales. The only part of that is I have not really implemented is putting leg on women. You know, I've only put leg on only one. So people should be careful I don't put leg on more. Anyway. And mentorship in the African society, during the what do you call this thing? During the COVID era, I registered for a 6-month course in London School of Economics on African history. And it further confirmed what I argued with them in Business School Netherlands dating back to 2003. And that is the fact that action learning cannot just be something that started in Europe. I cited the example of the apprenticeship in the Goland. It's an action learning. Younger people coming up, and they are being taught by very successful tradesmen who have made it, and when they are leaving, they give them freedom. They give them a little resource. They will ask them to copy what they do. They buy from the same supplier and so on and so forth, and they become fully independent. That is mentorship. Our parents who are barbers, who are tailors, who are everything, they were taught through apprenticeship or so through mentorship, not through this formal class teaching. So mentorship had been an integral part of the African society, and we need to go back to it. Pharmacists must start to mentor those young ones, because many of them can miss the road or without mentorship. Now, the tale of mentorship is the story of Kola and another Sam. I'm not going to share that story since I don't have all the time. It's just to show that mentorship is key. Kola and Sam, Kola was mentored by Sam, who identified the singing ability of Kola and encouraged him and called him for every occasion where there's opportunity for somebody to sing, and therefore mentored him on music, and he became a successful person. Everybody needs someone to teach them how to dream. A dream mentor to help them dream bigger and dare wider. I could have lost it. When I was told I had no charisma, I could have lost it. I could have believed what people told me. I could have refused to venture or to try. But I had a mentor who used to tell me, don't believe them. Don't worry what they say. Look at A, look at B. And that encouraged me. What you have is good enough for you to grow. Build on your strength, not your what? Your weaknesses. Unlike what the traditional business school teaches, that you must address your weaknesses. Your weaknesses has no relevance. My major weakness was I was a noisemaker in secondary school, in primary school, and secondary school. In secondary school, you need to tell me so as not to make noise to say no vernacular. Finish. I won't be able to make noise. I couldn't express myself in good English. So, but through mentoring, my communication skill was built. I hope I'm communicating. So, find ways to look for somebody. A mentor directs, he leads, he coaches, he advises, he trains, he inspires, he supports, he motivates, and he pushes you into success. He ensures that he celebrates the little that you do. A mentor should always look for the good side of the mentee. It doesn't mean that you cannot correct him on his gaps. But when you first start with the good side, you become receptive to the things you want to share with him. So mentorship is nurturing growth, nurturing success, and making a positive change. So mentorship is dynamic and transformational. How do we define mentorship? I will just share a few sentences to just describe it. I don't believe in Wikipedia definition, so I like to use my own definition. If you know where you are going, your journey is what? If you know how to get there, your journey is. If you have someone who has been there to teach you how to get there, your journey is what? If that person decides to take you there, you are already. And this is what mentoring is all about. Now, we have to help these young people. One, it's good for legacy. Two, it's a responsibility. We all have thumbprints. When I used to look down on myself, Konkoloish, invisible man, too shorter, and things like that. My mentor told me, he said, Lere, hey, can you see your thumbprint put there? And brought out this pad. And he asked me to put it, and I put it. He said, study that thing. I thought you wanted to do metaphysics for me. I said, look at it. You see the way those lines are arranged. You are the only person in the world who has this. And there are over 7 billion people in the world. When he was talking to me, we are now about 8 billion. And he said, no other person in the world has the same thumbprint like you. It means you are unique. Those who are in existence before Christ was born, they are not as lucky as you are. I said, why? Because the population of the world was less. Now with almost 8 billion, and I'm still alive, I'm the only person with this thumbprint, it means I've been created by God for a purpose, to fill a void in the world. That's why the scripture says you have been born. You have existed in the heart of God before your mother had you in his womb. You are so unique. That uniqueness that we have as individuals, we must live, we must help those coming behind so that they can aspire to become better than the way we were. So mentorship is a relationship built on trust, respect, and mutual learning. You must challenge the mentee. You must be experienced. A mentor challenges you. His experience is where he helps you to where you want to go. He supports you. He made investment in your success. They try to guide you towards the answer and provide constructive feedback. Remember that you are automatically a mentor also for your children. I hope you understand this now. I knew this. My mom had significant influence on me. My mom can kneel down for a day-old child. And he said it doesn't take anything away from you. So when people see me prostrate, that's what I picked from my mom. And so she has inspired me to let me know that respect doesn't cost you anything. So I'd like to thank her. I thought she was going to cross the 100 years, but it took her at a very young age of 93 plus again. Very painful. Mentoring, the soft skills that are required to help mentors include strategic skill, interpersonal skill, operating skill, energy, and drive. And at times, it's not for you to know everything. It's for you to be able to connect them with somebody who knows the thing that they need at that material time. To look for somebody who can fill the gap for you. Because they trust you. Everything they tell you, everything you tell them, they trust you. They believe that you are going to give them the correct answer. So as much as possible, people normally confuse coaching and mentoring. In mentoring, you have to coach. But coaching is more of non-directive. You ask. Ask instead to tell. You enhance awareness, and you don't need to know something to coach somebody. You just ask questions. And knowing how to ask the W questions, the why, where, when, how, which, and so, helps you with coaching. In mentoring, you must know a lot. You must advise and guide. You must share your experience. And so, a guy called Dr. Femi Oyewo, the husband of Professor Oyewo, I got a job in 1993 that paid me 6 times my salary. Society for Family Health. And I didn't want to go, so when they asked for help, I didn't apply. They called me for breakfast, for brunch. And I went, and they said, we actually call you to have this brunch with you, to hire you. I mean, to go and work with NGO, working for Pfizer. Me that I was waiting for director's position to go. I just look at how much salary will the director earn in Pfizer. I just added it together, I multiplied it, I said, and then they say, well, how much are you going to earn? I called something that was 6 times my salary there. 2 weeks later, they go back to me and say, Washington has approved it. Because I wanted to just put them off. Then I now say, can I pray? Can you allow me to pray? Peter Clancy looked at me and said, you want to pray for a job like this? Everything you wanted, we offer you except Mercedes-Benz that you asked for. We've bought your car. And I thought through it. I prayed. I fasted. Dr. Oyewo called me, who was my mentor, was our medical director. He said, don't look at the salary now. Look at where you want to be in 25 years' time. Which one do you think is the best pathway to where you want to be in 25 years' time? I said, Pfizer appears to be on that path. Have you seen a link between society? I said, Society for Family Health is going to give me money, but might not really give me what I really needed. He says, stay in Pfizer. And I stayed. 2 years later, he died. And it was like, why should I have? Why did I stay? And as God will have it, was the best decision. Today, my wife has agreed, because my wife also fasted. And you know, when a wife is praying for prosperity, and you have this kind of opportunity, and you're not going, then something will be wrong psychologically. So you'll be praying that the Holy Spirit should talk to me. My husband is just a stubborn boy. I know a lot of prophets will just see that you need to go, you need to do me. That's because, anyway, mentoring required that people share experience. And by the time he shared his own life experience with me, I was calmer. And therefore, I used my life experience to also share with my mentees, to let them know that anything is possible. That the person in front of them, counseling them or talking to them or mentoring them, have worked as a vendor, have worked as a tailor, have worked as a barber, in order to raise money. I paid my fees in primary school, which was just £1 per term. I paid part of my fees in secondary school. I became a houseboy to Reverend Sister Margaret. I became a houseboy to Father Convoy. But this is me today. And every time my wife wants to maltreat me, I say, please pity me. Look at what I've gone through a lot. Just take, this is the time to take best care of me. Let me just enjoy it. Now, so mentorship is the highest form of role that anybody can play for another person. You can teach, you can be a role model, you can teach, you can coach, you can be a counselor, you can be a sponsor or benefactor, you can be a patron. But when you are a mentor, you have provided a lifeline for that person. You have provided a bridge for that person. And it's a position of trust. And that's why I love the decision today. What are the benefits? One, mentors they always have age. Mentors can help identify the core shape of your mentees. Today is not a day for us to teach how to be a mentor. It's just to show how important mentorship is. And I want to use the acronym of SHAPE, just like I use the GRACE, to remind you. Every single, I told you about my mentor told me that I have a thumbprint. Everybody has shape. Shape. Shape like figure 8. Or a woman's shape, figure 8. Have you? Good. S means special gift. H means heart. Your heart. Your heart is the seat of your passion. A means ability, your competency as a pharmacist. P means personality. So some people have they have personality physically. Like Ikeja Buddha. It stands, it's a 6+ footer. But luckily for me, my son is taller than him. And I'm so glad about it. Because when Ikeja, he sat beside me yesterday in a board meeting. And even when I stood up, he was still looking down on me. And he was seated. So I wish that my son came to say, Daddy, how are you? And I would say, okay, this is my son. But I've always told my wife, who told me that I was sure that I have a very tall gene, but I decided to just keep it. So there's a personality, P. Then there's an experience. Those 5 qualities are what every mentor requires to help the mentee. You must help them in identifying what is their special gift. Like Sister Margaret identified noise making is a good gift for me. I'm sure you were shocked to hear that noise making is good. It was Sister Margaret who made me to be a readaholic person. I read. I try to read a book every week. I never read 52 books in a year, but I've been able to read as much as 45 in a year. And every time I read, I jot down what I've read. I have it. Today, Elelu will notice the fact that I've sent maybe 4 or 5 things to you. 6. I've sent it to you as well. All the special members of strategy group who created Vision 2050 for PSN. for which my sister is one of them, and Ugu is also here. Egu is also there. I've seen him. I saw him when he was coming in. Great guy. Correct. No, not him. Egu. He said, those are members. Oh, great. The powerful, naturally talented masters of ceremony anywhere. So we sat down for 18 months and developed Vision 2050. It was a very tedious work, over 100-page future plan for pharmacy. It requires mentorship to be able to listen and to hear from the elders some of the visions that they have. And so when you use all these things, you use it to shape the mentees. And then you allow the mentees to do the D. But all of us have shaped. The D is the decision. If I have an identical twin, and we are the same thing in our shape, in our special gift include time, talent, treasures, tears, relationship. But we do not, our way of taking decision is what makes a difference between me and any other identical twin. Every mentee must be made to make the best use of their shape, so that decision making becomes easier for them. Your job is to identify those shapes in them, to identify what is good in them, what is their special gifts, what's their passion, which is the age, what is their abilities, what is their capabilities, what's their personality, and that you enjoy it, and that what's their experience, and then you use your experience to add on to them. So personal growth and development occurs when you make use of your shape into decision making. I knew if I stay in a job that requires marketing, I will excel. So I stayed with marketing. I left manufacturing. I actually joined the pharmaceutical industry in the manufacturing plant. My first boss was Dr. Karl Emmans, a German pharmacist, who was a boss to late Dr. Lukoya and the rest of them. And eventually, I moved away from manufacturing and I moved to sales, because I was known to make a lot of noise, and I was known to also speak. Oropo, you understand me now? What's the English? So I'm always speaking. So personal growth and development comes from identifying those key things through your wealth of knowledge and experience. You provide guardians. You allow them to develop self-awareness of what they are good at, to enhance their decision-making skills, and to cultivate a growth mindset that, in spite of their weaknesses, in spite of my height, I can still be useful. I hope you know what I mean. So, in spite of your mentees' weaknesses, don't try to transform them to who you are. Your job is to identify what they are, what they have innate ability for, and to build them up. And in our professional advancement in pharmacy, you must provide them with resources. You assist them in setting goals. Providing them with resources, share your industry connection, recommend additional mentees for career opportunities, or serve as references. You can fast-track professional advancement for them and open doors for them where you need to. I had costs to look for jobs for people in the industry. Somebody submitted my application in Pfizer. It was in Glasgow. I was admitted in Glasgow. I met Mr. Ogundibo, was head of quality control. I was supposed to work with him, late Ogundibo. And he found out that his secretary had decided to hide my letter of admission, because that secretary had another candidate who wanted to come. And when I didn't show up on time, I schooled in ABU. And so they gave it to another person. And Ikeja was very, very unhappy. So he said, okay, I will submit your application some other places. We didn't know anybody from Adam in Pfizer. And then they called us for interview, and then we got it. So he provided that bridge for me. And so I've had cause to provide bridge for a number of different people as well who are looking for a job, because I'm a beneficiary of somebody helping me to find a job. Is it clear? Good. And today you saw me acknowledging Elder Ebenezer Adeleke, who did not know me from Adam, who did not know I'm from the same place with him, but yet he chooses to help me. The first attempt for me and my wife to run a business, Radola Enterprises, is a dead company, so don't bother to search for it, even in Wikipedia. he was a country manager for Nicholas Laboratory. Because many of you only remember him now as a community pharmacist. He was an industrial pharmacist for Nicholas Laboratory. They sell Abusid and the rest of them. Became distributor, started to supply a number of different clinics. I wanted to introduce my wife into marketing. But it was difficult for her. She wasn't carved out that way. She was carved out as a gentle person, work, have dedicated job description and get it done. It took years for me to inspire her to make her an entrepreneur. I hope you understand me now. So it takes time. I want to thank you once again, sir, because you will lay the foundation for whatever success we make in entrepreneurship today in my family. I want to thank you once again, Elder Minister. Expanded network. You use your position to provide an expanded network for them. So what is the impact in organization and society? It enhanced organizational culture. Wherever you are working is where God has set you up. All of us are not going to stand on the pulpit and preach the gospel to people in our churches, in our mosques. No. Where you work is your ministry. The people who work with you are the members of that ministry. I'm not asking you to collect tithe from them. No. But your job is to pour your life into them. To pour your life into them. So that they can become somebody better than the way they came in. I've been mentored by different people, different persons, different times when I was in Pfizer. And I can tell you, when my job was to end in Pfizer, the person I went to work with in France in 1995, in charge of French West Africa, was the person who took me out and put me in Pfizer specialty. His name is Jean-Pierre Althier. I worked with him. How did I work with him? He said he needed help in French West Africa. Nigeria released me. I went there. I prepared marketing plans for French West Africa. We went to French West Africans who were traveling. Even though I did not have, I had Schengen visa, so at times I don't have visa for those countries. The Uniboma, as the point of entry, we speak French to them. They would just stamp my passport. And I went to several countries. And when it was time and I say, I'm likely going to lose my job, I just spoke about you, about your husband, Professor Femi. Welcome. This is the family that participated in mentoring me and keeping me in the company. So that's a great mentor. I mean, I come across students who finished from Olabisi Onabanjo, and when they see me, and I say, why are you dressed like this and you're a pharmacist? Why can't you wear your tie? And they say, Professor, you all used to tell us so. I say, so because there's a standard that people must maintain. Ladies and gentlemen, enhance organizational culture. Create a culture for learning, for growth, for continuous improvement. You must prioritize mentorship to be able to share knowledge, to innovate, to lead to increased productivity. Most people work with me through mentorship. They've been able to become better. I'm saying some things openly because I have some of my competitors who were in Glasgow those days. And when I was in Pfizer, they are here. Some of them are sitting on the same table. And the reality of it, the secret to success for anybody is God. I hope you understand me now. But God granted me grace to understand that you do not compete with your subordinates. You must build your subordinates. And I learned that in Glasgow. Mr. Olakwa was always looking for young people to post, to promote. So when I became a manager of people, not just a manager in title, the first thing I did, I went to Ife, Unilag, and Olabisi Onabanjo. I collected their forms, and I got all my subordinates to go to school to go and do MBA. Do you think, are they going to be faithful to me? Of course. So, when people say, I have a group of people who work with me as if they are members of a cult, they have to. Because I'm interested in their progress. I don't talk down on them. I inspire them on a daily basis. And that's the methodology I'm using today. I don't have to be in my office any day. I have so many things I'm doing every day. But the school can run on its own. Why? Because there are people who are committed. You join as a youth corps, you join BSN as a youth corps. Immediately after your youth corps, we keep you. 1 year to 2 years, we study you, you've done well, we put you on the MBA program and pay your fees, $36,000. And as you are there, we expect you to add value to the school. Am I correct? Are they going to be loyal to me tomorrow? They will be. So, and I'm talking to us because we are already fellows. There's nothing we need to show pharmacy again other than to mentor those behind. We must support them. We must help them. We must guide them. We must pour our life into them. Where we have made mistakes, we must teach them. And so that is going to lead into leadership development for them, smooth succession planning, social impact, and giving back. It's an opportunity for us to give back. God has been gracious to me. So if there's nothing I can give back, teachers don't have money, but we have mouth. Have you? So let me use my mouth to teach those coming behind me and encourage them and inspire them. Because everything we want to do to impact pharmacy, we have been recognized. We have been given fellowship. But there's more we can do. We can continue to support those coming behind. And not just monetarily, but by helping them. If we are in a university, if we are in an environment where there's a university and a faculty, there's nothing wrong with you once in a while during the weekend to go and share with them for 2 to 3 hours. What how to get it done? Ladies and gentlemen, promoting effective mentorship therefore requires that we establish formal mentorship program with clear objectives. We should broaden and promote equity and provide access to opportunities. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The Nigeria Academy of Pharmacy has already initiated 7 years ago a mentorship program. They already have a template for it. We can jointly work with them. If we want to set up one, they can just take that template and build on it and create a mentorship program that forces every fellow to have at least one mentor in a year. To be able to say, I've been able to help this person from this level to this level. And we should be able to give it as a report. Can you imagine thousands of fellows that we have today decide to mentor one more pharmacist? Just one. Look at how pharmacy will transform in 5 years. It means in the next 5 years, each of the fellows will mentor 5 people. Am I correct? And those people who have benefited from mentorship will eventually mentor other people. What starts to happen becomes generational. And therefore, the future of pharmacy becomes brighter and brighter and brighter. So that those of us who are not lucky to have pharmacists as our kids, but who are aspiring to have our grandkids as pharmacists, they'll be able to meet a pharmacy that is superior to the one we met. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? So let's sow it forward. And I pray that God will help you. Now, we need to encourage experienced professionals to help us. We must look for ways to impart and foster culture. Society will benefit from it. Embracing mentorship will unlock a world of possibilities, enabling individuals to thrive, organizations to thrive. So what are the lessons of mentorship as I try to close? It's a guiding light to the journey of growth and success. Number 1, it's a profound relationship that offers valuable lessons. It helps individuals to be guided, to be supported, and as a myriad of tasks emerge, you're able to shape other people's character, foster growth, and pave the way for success. I used to be a very impatient person. It requires another patient mentor to teach me what patience is all about. And I remember I used to tell me, you are so impatient that I pray that you find a quiet person as a wife. But this level of impatience. And truly, by the time I got married, I found out that marriage makes you to become patient. It was a good teacher of patience. So these lessons serve as guiding lights. What are these? Number 1, mentors help us with wisdom. They impart their knowledge and experience. They exchange wisdom that allows us to learn from their mentors' mistakes, successes, and lessons. By sharing their journey, mentors instill a mentee's sense of foresight and enables us to navigate the challenges of life. Mentors help us to nurture our potential, not to focus on our weaknesses, but to focus on the strength. And if there's nothing this lecture should do, it should help you to actively look for people to mentor, preferably a pharmacist. I have nothing wrong with mentoring non-pharmacists, but all the pains we have in pharmacy, all the complaints we make in pharmacy, particularly those ones we met, that was generational. I hope you know what I mean. There have been some problems we met in pharmacy when we graduated, and they are still there. Because, at one point, 2 weeks ago or last month, Uncle K, Elelu, has brought us together, and I was saying, I actually feel that the major problem of pharmacy is pharmacists. Most of the problem we have lies within us. We could solve it. We are not just interested. But through appropriate mentorship, we can see a bigger picture and start to understand that we can transform pharmacy. So, ladies and gentlemen, we nurture their potential, we build their confidence, we will help them to expand their network, like I mentioned. We help them with continuous learning. Solo mentioned something which is critical. There can be reverse mentoring. The younger people mentoring you. As I sat with Joket this morning, there's a guy they said came here yesterday when we were holding our meeting. Yesterday they said somebody was here to teach about digital platform. And I would like to meet you. Yes, I would like to meet you after the session. He has to mentor me. I need it. My first degree is in pharmacy. My second degree is in business admin. I did my electives in financial management, but I practice marketing. My third degree is in digital transformation. So I need somebody like that to take it beyond the theory of digital transformation that I did for my doctorate and bring me to practical. You understand me now? I know how to use technology, but I must be able to use the latest form of technology. I've started some training, online training on artificial intelligence, but I believe you'll be in a position to teach me on how to apply it to entrepreneurship. And so when I was told you were the teacher yesterday, and I respect teacher, you have to be my teacher and mentor. I hope you are openly accepting to be my mentor, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, so continuous learning. There's no end to learning. Being a fellow doesn't mean that you should stop learning. So, promoting accountability and responsibility. We are accountable. There's a difference between responsibility and accountability. Responsibility is now. Accountability is a legacy. I've left Pfizer 17 years ago, but I'm still accountable for the things I did when I was in Pfizer. In fact, US can still call me for some decisions I take it they were unethical. And can I still be charged to court for it? That is accountability. Are you leaving a legacy of accountability in your store as community pharmacists, in the hospital? Are you helping those coming behind? Or you are pressing them down? Because let me tell you one thing from my experience. There's no amount of effort to make to press people below you down. They will still grow. That's number one. So it's best for you not to press them down so that you can be part of the history of their success stories. Am I communicating? So I want to encourage you. And moreover, when you make effort to press people down, it's a lot of energy. It doesn't allow you to also fly because you cannot be pressing people down and at the same time be flying. So you just reach maturity quickly. You can't fly. But when you are helping them to fly, a time will come when they find out that you are below them, they will come back and carry you up. And that is the beauty of mentoring. I want to encourage all of us to go into mentoring, to leave a legacy. Mentors help mentees to embrace failure and to therefore be able to bounce back. I've failed in a number of things in life. And I can tell you without mentors, I would have given up totally. When I left Pfizer, and remember I joined business school before I left Pfizer as a part-time teacher. And I looked at what they are doing. Every meeting I go to, they just look at me. First, Onyibo people, they first of all look at me, based on my height, they look down. Then number two, the only thing I have is MBA. So when they are talking, even on the things that I know better than them, like in marketing, they will talk down on me. Say, what degree do you have? They indirectly say so. And they just say, no. And at times they just say, we are discussing something in the academic world. So I'm not supposed to talk. I look at my age and say, how am I going to start? My mentor told me, you want to be relevant in this school? must go and do your doctorate. So at an old age, I went to do my doctorate. As soon as I had my doctorate, all the people used to talk down on me in BSN. They started to say, we all knew, we've always known you are an intelligent, brilliant person. It's always like that. Without a mentor, I would have given up, just earn income and just live. All I'm trying to tell you is that you never get to a level whereby you don't need a mentor as well. Even though you have fellows, there are fellows who can mentor you. I hope you know this. So, good. Giving back. Pharmacy has done so much for us. You don't know how much pharmacy has done. I'm telling you the truth. Particularly those who are pharmacists, who are practicing pharmacy. You don't know how much pharmacy has done for you. You only know what pharmacy has done for you when you go outside pharmacy to practice. And people say, how are you able to do this? You see? Is that not a normal thing in the pharmaceutical industry? In the pharma sector, there are a lot of things we do. When my wife went to sit for ICANN, accountancy, she was an award winner in ICANN. And she never had cause to have reference. So pharmacy teaches us discipline that is so high. And you need to therefore give back to pharmacy. I am not a typical traditional practicing pharmacist, but I want to give back to pharmacy. And the reason why I'm doing that is that pharmacy had been nice to me. It shaped me, my outlook to life. Allow me to know that I can succeed against all odds. We are the only group of people, sir, the chairman, who go to the dining with lab coat, white lab coat. We are the only people who go for lectures Friday, Monday, or to Saturday. We are the only people who, when you finish your practical by 5 or 6 and your tissue dies, you are going to stay in that practical class till 11 night. There's something we call tissue you play with. Particularly when they put acetylcholine or things like noradrenaline and the thing they do like this. And then you are working with the drum. And then you finish all the drum, the thing that have been done, and you have not passed it through the chemical for you to, and then somebody's clothes touched it. You are going to do a fresh one. We suffered. That's why we have persevere. That's why you see that we have pharmacists who excel and are award winners in law school, like the father of the day sitting beside you, like Uncle or the BOF chairman, Chedu. And there are a number of other people who have gone to different professions and they have excelled. I wanted the chartered accountant to know that my wife is also a chartered accountant. He's a fellow of Chartered Institute of Taxation. He's a fellow of Chartered Institute of ACA. And he's an investment manager. It wouldn't have been possible without the way we are prepared. Pharmacy is one of the toughest courses. I'm not saying it because I'm a pharmacist. I'm saying it because I cannot even practice pharmacy myself. That's why I settle for a very simple job of teaching. Show you something now. I'm doing a simple job of teaching. It's a time for us to give back. Mentorship provides us to give back. So how do we leverage it for professional growth? First, we are going to use mentorship to develop knowledge and skill. Everybody cannot end up as Professor Mrs. Oyewo, who is teaching full-time. But you can teach people you work with. Am I correct? You can teach the neighboring pharmacy. For example, I love what the ACPM people are doing. They have Zona group. And they set up a methodology of mentoring other people so they don't pass through the pathway you went through. We can use it for building networks. We can use it for personal growth and confidence building. We use it for transfer of knowledge and experience. We use it for leadership and succession planning. We use it for social cohesion and collaboration. We use it for establishing mentorship programs like Academy of Pharmacy has done. We use it for recognition and encouraging mentorship. And we can therefore ask the chairman of BOF to ask every single one of them to send a report at the end of each year to say how much success you've made with your mentors. You must be able to say, my mentor used to do a turnover of 1 naira. They are now doing 200. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to close by stating clearly that in order to produce outstanding professionals in the community of pharmacists by BOF, we must do everything we can that through determination and through building on talents, we have to support our community to provide mentorship and guidance. We have to use it to improve our networking and collaboration. We have to use mentorship to improve emotional support for learning and growth, for accountability and feedback, and to also celebrate achievement of these younger ones. Attracting individuals are empowered to reach their full potential through our collective efforts. Remember that I'm a product of community efforts. I hope you know this. So we have to also, as a community, help these people. Thank you, Solo. So we have to implement mentorship program for younger people, and the methodology to do that is to define program objectives. 2, establish program structure and resources. 3, recruit mentors and mentees. Some people, they are not natural mentors. So we have to have settings whereby we do training on what mentorship is all about. I can get the Institute of Mentors and Development to come and help. Don't worry. Conduct mentor and mentee training. Don't worry. In fact, this is very generous. I will be through before that. So, conduct mentorship, facilitate meaningful mentorship relationship. Remember, when you ask a teacher to come and deliver a lecture, they're always thinking it's like an inaugural lecture. So that's what comes to their head. So this is for the reason, but I'm trying my best to see if I will finish earlier than you gave me. We need to offer educational and networking opportunities. We need to evaluate the program's impact to be sure that we are making progress. That's why I wanted every fellow to be able to come up with lists. So when I see, I'm lucky because I'm running a school. So there are times when pharmacists come to our school. And when they are thinking and I start to ask them questions, start to shape them, it will interest you that Shina Okpanubi attended business school Netherlands, the owner of FAMLSN, who is making such a great impact on community pharmacy. All his 8 projects in our school for the MBA, we do 8 projects, written. And it has to be on a practical thing. We are blueprints for the things that he's doing today in FAMLSN. So, mentorship is key. When we do this, so that is a position that somebody else may have filled outside pharmacy. But because it's being managed by pharmacy, he understands the issues of pharmacy and the gaps in pharmacy, and is filling those gaps. So we have to evaluate the program's impact. In conclusion, Uncle Solo, the mentorship program for young pharmacists can therefore significantly impact our professional growth. We have to find a way to be able to use a solid structure, providing necessary resources through the BOF, conducting mentor-mentee training, facilitating meaningful relationship, openly telling young pharmacists to say, how many, who are those of you who require mentorship? What area do you require mentorship? If it's industrial, you take them to the industrial. So board of fellow must therefore have industrial sector, community pharmacy sector, and things like that helps. And there are people who are very good in public policy, public health policy, like my mentor, Dr. N.A.E. Elijah Mohammed, who is capable of helping. A number of people are interested in public health. And I'm not talking of public health like MPH. I'm talking of policy making, and policy implementation based on his experience. He can mentor many of us. A number of people are retiring. And what should they do post-retirement? You can be mentored. I was mentored before I left Pfizer. That's why I'm still relevant. I would have sat at home just reading newspaper. But I'm finding usefulness teaching other people some courses. So, we have this to express my sincere thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Very deep appreciation and profound gratitude. First, to the numerous mentors in pharmacy, because I'm a product of community mentorship. They provided the shoulders upon which I stand today. I want to thank the entire members of the Board of Fellows for the opportunity to deliver the 5th public lecture of the Board of Fellows of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. I want to thank you because until this morning, I just thought I was coming to deliver just like any other lecture, as if I'm going to Pharmacists Council to deliver a lecture. But when I got here, and I realized that Professor Agbola Gambari was the first to deliver this lecture in 2019. Adele Teriba 2020. Chikwe Iekwazu in 2021. Chief Geokari Gadzama in 2022. And in 2023, Lere Baale. I feel so honored. I want to thank every one of you. So, may May the divine grace of God be in abundance for us all in our life journey. And as we move on, I believe that we'll be able to transform pharmacy by transforming and formalizing mentorship program. God bless you really good.
We can do better. Please, let's put our hands together again for our guest lecturer. Let's have our seats. Our pitch to us, let's have our seats. Our pitch to us, except for very pressing issue, let's be on our seats. Don't go out. Please, please. I'm appealing to all of us. Let's have our seats. I said for pressing issue. I use the word pressing issue. Although you can, fellow Ugu, although you can hold your peace. Okay, Chijoke and Co. Are you stretching your leg? Can we just sit down, please? Let's sit down. Okay. Some are doing aerobics by standing. We are supposed to have a Q&A. But what will be going on right now is that our refreshment will be served as takeaway. So please sit down so that they can come to where you are seated. We won't have any buffet to take away or to sit down and begin to eat. Please, let's take note of that. Let's have our seat so that those who are serving the refreshments can do that orderly. If we are standing, I know you are doing that to exercise your legs. Please, let's have our seats. Again, as a sign of honor to our elders, can we just stop the noise making? Can we just stop the noise making and the gathering? Before I begin to mention noise makers like Kola and those at the far left corner. Until we are all seated, we will not continue. Until we are all seated, as a sign of respect to our elders, we will not continue. I know. We don't have the luxury of the Q&A because our time is fast spent. It's 2:17. A few announcements, let's take notes. The cocktail will take place at the Lagos Country Club. For those of us who are not used to the place, it's just almost opposite this place, on the other side of the road, Mombalaji and Bankantoni Road. Please, it's by 6 p.m. And then, of course, we know that tomorrow is another day for us. Lagos Country Club by 6 p.m. Talking about mentoring, we'll just give the high table 1 minute. I'm sure some of us are already deciding on what to do. Please, I appeal to us before we started. Let me do the appeal again. Let's have some specific actions that we'll take after now. That's the only reason why we are here. That's the only deliverable from your attending this meeting. I'm going to be calling the chairman of the day to give us the closing remark. And of course, we'll have the vote of thanks and we'll be on our way home. But I want to thank all of us for the patience that we have exercised. Let's just continue with that patience. For the next 10 minutes, we'll be out of this place. So let's put our hands together for our chairman of the occasion again as he does his closing remarks.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I was here and I'm glad I listened to this presentation. I won't make any effort to summarize it because that will water a lot of information that has come down. I will just add my own definition to mentoring. Mentoring simply means just investing your whole life into somebody else so that he becomes a better person. The benefits is plenty. If the BOF of PSN decide to really mentor younger pharmacists, they are doing a service to this country by ensuring that we will have better and good pharmaceutical services in the future. In the absence of that, we are doomed. You can never develop if there is no mentorship. But let me quickly add also that mentorship actually can be learned. There are some people who are born mentors. They have that passion. They are ready to help people become better, even better than themselves. But if you don't have that quality, you can learn it. And it is very, very important. The benefit is plenty. When I leave here, I'm going to go back to a meeting that I'm chairing. And I am the chairman of the National HIV Laboratory Tax Team for Nigeria. I have 2 co-chairs. The 2 co-chairs are professors. And one of the professors said, if I am not the chairman, they are not ready to do the work. What means is that if you are a mentor, even when you don't know, the people you have mentored will always say who you are, and the benefit is unlimited. So I will encourage the Board of Fellows. The Board of Fellows are creme de la creme for the profession. Therefore, they have a responsibility to bring out pharmacists that will replace them. Pharmacists that will sustain and develop and improve the practice of pharmacy and is for the good of society. Let me say this.
We are making noise again.
Nobody went to school to serve himself. You did not become a pharmacist to serve yourself. All professions are service-oriented. All professions, they are all service-oriented. You are just given remuneration so that you can be alive to give those services. And there is one thing I tell all professions. As mentors, as creme de la creme, you must practice ethically, and you must have excellent professional knowledge and experience. And I say this, if every profession in this country practices ethically, 99% of Nigeria's problem would have been solved. We will not bother ourselves who will be president. Donald Trump wanted to mess the U.S., but the professionals said no way. And today they have sustained the legacy of their institutions. I pray and I urge the BOF of the Pharmaceutical Society.
Please. I know that our mouths chewing, we shouldn't be making this kind of noise if we are doing that exercise. Can we just give honor? We have less than 10 minutes to go, please.
I keep telling young people, somehow the training nowadays is getting a little bit watered down. And it gives more responsibility to experienced elderly people to fill in these gaps. I was talking somewhere. I will never forget in 1977 when I went to do practicals in synthetic chemistry. The first practical we did was preparation of aspirin. So I was asking, I said, why are you asking us to prepare aspirin? I thought preparation of aspirin should be done in pharmacy. But they were just practically bringing out issues of synthetic chemistry. And I remember, up till now, I will not forget, aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. So we did the synthesis, we do the yield from the distinct, the purity, all this. But you find people who are supposed to have left the university now cannot discuss what all of us who left the university 40 years ago can discuss. It's very sad. And therefore, it makes it very important for Board of Fellows.
I'm sure it is possible for us to be quiet for 7 minutes.
To please make it a duty that they become mentors, that they change what is going on in our society. Many of us benefited from good systems, but the system is collapsing in front of us, and we are watching. It's because we are not mentoring. I know that from what the speaker said, there is another component to it. Young people should be willing to be mentored. But you can see every day we are having less and less mentees. We have people who are looking for money, not people who want to develop professional stamina. I pray and I wish that everything I'm going to get a copy of this lecture, isn't it? Beautiful. So many things are said. We will carry it to other places and display it. It is good information. And please, the information is given here. So one would expect that the BOF will be able to translate this into reality more than others who will get it secondhand. I wish the Board of Fellows the best, and I wish that they will behave like creme de la creme for a profession that is necessary. Please extend this, even mentorship. It's not just to pharmacists. In the industry, we are all too many. And if you are going to practice pharmacy very well, you discover that you are going to interact with many people. One of the things I do is toxicological analysis. So I always go to, because when they bring somebody who has taken drugs and is, what is it called? He cannot talk. They will call us to come and run tests. And I go to pharmacists to understand so many things, especially drug metabolism and how they appear in blood or are excreted, because these are specimens that we work with. So we need to also interact very well, develop professionalism, and mentor young ones so that society will continue to benefit from professionalism. I am very happy I was here. I thank the Board of Fellows for inviting me and making me a big man. Because if you are a chairman, you are a big man, isn't it? The only thing is that I didn't see Solomon say, Mr. Chairman, sir. Because when you talk, you should say, Mr. Chairman, sir, so that I can feel I'm really a big man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir. Just for the last item that we have before then, when the guest lecturer was speaking, our immediate past chair of the Board of Fellows, who looks like somebody who shares the same gene with the father of the day, because she's ageless, at about 73, still looking like a teenager, bouncing, with a swag, unrivaled swag, Professor Mbang Femi Oyewo. And also felt like the father of the day too. So maybe there are some genetic dimensions to all of these ageless. All right, on that note, let's welcome the Secretary of the Board of Fellow to give us our vote of thanks. Fellow Lere FAMLSN. It's been wonderful being with you, and I'm sure same time next year, by the grace of God, we'll be together again.
The chairman of today, our prince, the father of the day, Chairman BOF, immediate past chairman, the chairman of this committee, of the committee planning this program, and our erudite scholar, Professor Lere Baale. All fellows, members of PSN, professional bodies that are represented there, we thank you very much for this occasion. We thank you for waiting till this moment. It's been a very good time, and I know quite well that we heard what the lecturer said. In my own part of this nation, it says that Iletaba Fitoko Iriloma Nwo. I will translate. That is, if we don't train our children, they will end up selling the house we build. And the house you build on quicksand will just be washed away with just one rain. So today, we have been told that the younger ones need to be mentored. And it is our duty, like the lecturer said the fellows, like he's telling us that we have reached the zenith of this profession. We have done all we have to do. But I want to tell him that it might not be possible because a 40-year-old fellow is still practicing, can still do more. Will only be a fellow when you are 20 years post-qualification. So we have to go back and mentor all these younger ones. And I know that the YPG people are over there. Please choose your mentee, whoever you want to mentor you. Choose your mentor, you become the mentee. And you can also mentor, like lecturer said, he wants Chidozie to mentor him. So, fellow colleagues, we thank you very much for this program. We still have more programs. Tomorrow will be the meeting of the Board of Fellows, and that's specific, strictly for fellows. In the evening is a dinner, whereby we'll give award to some of our prominent Nigerians, about 5 of them. And we are expecting the governor of Lagos State at that dinner. He had given us an instruction that we must start at 6 because he has other places to go. He will come here exactly by 6 and we have to start. So let us be here by 5:30 so that we can start by 6 and he will do what he wants to do and will go away. Once again, I thank you all for supporting us for this program. All the companies that have supported us, we say, God bless you all. Apps. There's an announcement. The app will meet after now with Prince, our father of the day. All Appians, will meet with our father of the day immediately after this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, there's a picture for the high table. Photographer, please get ready. Please come to the podium so that you can take the picture there. Thank you. No, that's why I go.
Board of Fellows, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria announces our 2023 media event from Tuesday 11th July to Friday 14th July 2023. Day 1, Seminar and Workshop. Theme, Entrepreneurship. Chairman, Pharmacist Ikeja, FAMLSN. President, CEO, Pharmacare Support Group. Speakers, Mr. Christian Chidozian. Topic, Utilizing Digital Platforms for Business Growth. Pharmacist Chief Inusa Baale, FAMLSN. Topic, Mitigating the Challenges of Entrepreneurship in Nigeria for Improved Outcomes. Sir David Adonri, Highcap Securities Limited. Topic, Managing Financial Risk in Pharmaceutical Business. Moderator, Pharmacist Solomon Aigbabwa, FAMLSN. Discussant, Pharmacist Matthew Asoji.
Tomorrow, at the dinner.
Pharmacist Lucas FAMLSN. Date Tuesday, 11 July 2023. Time 10 a.m. Venue Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja. Day 2, the 5th public lecture. Topic, leveraging on mentorship for professional growth and national development. Guest lecturer, Professor Lere, Baale, President, CEO, Business School, Netherlands. Chairman, Mr. Manason, FAMLSN, President, Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria. Wednesday, 12 July 2023. Time is 10 a.m. Venue, Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja, Lere. Day 3, Media Meeting. Day 12 July 2023. Time 10 a.m. Dinner and award night. Chairman, Mara Yusuf Olaoluwa, SAN. Founder of the Social Media of the Yusuf Olaoluwa. Principal Partner, Yusuf Ali Kokali Chambers. Chief Launcher, Yusuf Ali Rinji. Managing Director and Chief